Greetings, everybody. This is the 1/6 Scale Man presents Say What. And tonight I have some of the smoothest collectors in the game right now. And we have also a special guest on tonight's show. But before we jump into that, we're going to jump into this first. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Enough of that. We don't have to continue. It's too much. We're going to bring in the special guests and everybody that we have in here. Hey, guys, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
How's everybody?
Love the intro.
Oh, man. We're going to change it up. It's generic. It's going to change up soon. You know, I think it does what it does, you know, for now. Like, I can't be on everybody else's standard. I'm just starting out, so I'll get there. Just give me some time.
It looks great, dude.
It sets a nice vibe for the show. Yeah.
It makes you want to dance. Like, that's what you want to do when you start a podcast or a live show.
Exactly. Now, listen, again, as I told you guys, we have some of the smoothest individuals in the game today. And I'm talking about so smooth that they can actually talk your sneakers off by the end of the day. So without
That's
further
a lot of
ado,
pressure.
Exactly. So basically, I'm going to go into introducing everybody that's on tonight's panel. First off, we have my man, my mellow, WillFoxification. What's going on with you, bro?
Dude, not much. Happy to be here as always, Layout. We got an amazing panel. Like, I'm just happy that not everyone has a beard tonight. Thank God Justin's here. Because like I've been standing out like a sore thumb for the longest time. Like, everyone always has a beard and I always get so much flack for just my little scruff, but thank God for Justin.
Yeah, definitely. And
I don't know. It's coming. It's starting.
That's how mine is, dude. Mine's sort of like in the middle, but Brandan, Layout, and Jonathan, they just like they're taking their beard game to the next level.
Yeah, that's next level. We can't compete with that.
Nah, we can't get there.
you know, I guess, you know what? With the beard comes great responsibility.
See?
Plain and simple. You got to care for it. You got to do all sorts of things. But anyway, we got my man, the everyday collector in the business. Jonathan, how you doing, bro?
What's going on? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for the invite. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you guys this evening.
Thank you.
On this Monday night. You guys are awesome and love all the content you guys are producing. So yeah, it's awesome to be here.
You see what I said? I told y'all we have some of the smoothest individuals in this group. You see how smooth that was? Like, it was just so laid back. I wanted to play like some smooth like Italian music in the background just to kind of set the Okay, we have, and I don't even know why he named himself this, but we have Lael's scapegoat. We'll get to that later on. Brandan, what's going on with you, bro?
Exactly. We're here. Exactly this.
Nah.
All right. Because we revealed last night that you are actually a master enabler. Two of our panel last night were talking about how you were just driving them into purchases. Okay? So you call Ryan the enabler, you call me. You own that moniker yourself too. So you just trying to use me as a scapegoat, but no.
Again,
just sit there in your wrongness and be wrong and enjoy your wrongness, okay?
Again, they called me. I didn't call them. It's different. If they call you, you just give them advice. It's up to them to take that and run with it. So, you know.
So that's where the line is.
How many times did you message me about, yo, you got this, right? Should I get this one? Is this what, like, and then I say yes. And then next thing you know, LaToya is blaming me for you buying stuff. So you message me, and then you end up buying a lot of other stuff. So, I don't know, man. I think this, pot, kettle, black, I'm just saying.
What you say? I can't hear you. What was that? What? Okay.
This is what happens when you give him control, Brandan.
He's on mute.
I know.
Okay, and you know what? Finally, we have my man, my mellow, a guy that pretty much has amazing content on his channel. I mean, he's the man with the voice, and also he is, you want to call him the master enabler, but you can't call him that because at the end of the day, you have a choice of whether or not you want to buy it. He just kind of just gives you like a bit of a push. My man.
Wait, when it's him, you have a choice. But when it's me, I'm like twisting your arm.
I see the favoritism,
that turned
Brandan.
fast. Okay.
You don't count.
Right.
You don't count. Justin, how you doing, bro?
Okay.
Hey! Thanks for having me on the show. It's an awesome panel of folks here, so I think we're going to have a lot of fun chatting toys. Oh, yes.
Yes. See. You know what? That's what we're here to do. We're here to chat about toys, not enabling.
Yes.
Such as Brandan. But anyway, let's address the chat. Actually, I see one of the master enablers in the chat tonight. We have my man Jetta Patrol. He said, "Treat yourself." How you doing, bro?
Damn
We
right.
so glad to have you here, man. We have Anthony Cafferata. I'm glad to have you here. We have my man, OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars. How you doing today? We have Gabriel Munez. We have DK in the building. We have Linda. Joe P is in the building. We got Mario Cortez. What's going on with you, buddy? We have Danny Lee. Who's this? Who's this dude right here? Like, I mean...
What was it saying? Oh, yeah, that's me. I do. Because Brennan said I was putting makeup on, which, for the record, I don't wear makeup. They don't call me pretty boy because I wear makeup. They call me pretty boy just for my natural looks. So, just to let the record show.
It's one of those, like, you know, the opposites, like when you call a really big dude tiny.
It's one of those.
That's what it is.
We have
I'll take it.
Mike Moss in the building. We have Philip. We definitely have this guy, the enabler. We have Louis Libitz. I'm sure we'll have more people actually coming through here in just a minute. Oh, Bob Dylan is in the building.
See, I get nervous every time I see him in the chat because I think I'm going to get a quiz thrown at me or something. That I'm going to fail. Like,
Should we be so lucky? He's quizzes are
Right,
awesome.
right.
I love those quizzes.
And actually, we have my brother in the building, Damon LeCadre, man. Glad to have you here, bro. Yeah,
What's going
definitely
on?
glad to have you here. He's a fellow collector too, so you know. I will say that I enabled him, but it was for a good reason. We have Daryl Smith in the building. So, man, yeah, we have quite a few individuals in here. I'm so glad to see everybody here. But yeah, man, let's just kind of jump in and go for it, and you know, start talking about like some of the stuff that we've actually seen. One of the things I want to actually discuss now. Normally, you know, a little iffy about these particular things, and especially, you know, figures coming from this company. But at the same time, like I said, I'm just happy that they're kind of diving into this. So let's go into the first piece, and I'm really excited about it. Let's see here what we got. Let me just share the page. Give me a second here. We got this guy in the building right now. What do y'all think?
Ooh.
Oh.
Like, we got this guy in the building. Now, this, here's the thing. Like, when we think about, you know, pretty much the Star Wars IP, you know, definitely we think about Hot Toys, what they present, you know, what they actually give us, the quality that we actually get in those particular figures. But they have yet to really, you know, kind of attack the animated portion of the series itself. So this is basically the perfect opportunity, you know, for a company such as Sideshow to kind of jump in, you know, and just, you know, take the reins and just kind of run with it. And I think myself personally, they did a great job with these figures, especially with the interpretation. I'm so glad, you know, to pretty much see that, you know, they're actually doing this, and I'm hoping that they can actually continue on. Justin, what's your interpretation about? I mean, what's your perception, and what's your thoughts on this figure?
I love this. I've been saying, ever since I first saw it, I've been saying this is what I didn't know that I wanted from Clone Wars. I thought that the realistic stuff from Hot Toys was it. But when I saw this, I was like, oh no, this is it right here. So I pre-ordered both this guy and Obi-Wan off Sideshow as soon as I saw that they were up in the morning. I mean, they're playing to their strengths, right? They're doing, because they are okay when it comes to head sculpts and skin textures and whatnot, but they're a lot better, I find, with stuff like the animated stuff, because it's much more of a flat style. And they've nailed it here. It looks exactly like it did on the show. The one thing that I would potentially complain about is the display base is kind of boring as they usually are. If only they had printed that bright yellow Clone Wars logo right on top of that display base like they've done previously for their shiny clone in the regular realistic Sideshow Clone Wars line. If they printed that Clone Wars logo on there, I reckon that would have been a winner. But still, they look fantastic. So yeah, all in for me. All in.
All in, all in. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Definitely. Leo's scapegoat. What do you think about this, man?
I agree with Justin. I'm super hyped about these. And yeah, Sideshow. They don't always do the best job with sculpts and with paintwork, but it's largely what I said about like comic inspired statues. Like I have the Daredevil and the Shadowlands Daredevil variant from Sideshow, the premium formats, and those they're the sculpts are kind of flat. They're like comic inspired. They're not supposed to be like photorealistic. So those work, whereas some of the other ones that they've tried to do that are supposed to be the likeness of an actor, I think the paintwork is where they fall flat, where it looks flat and it doesn't have as much life to it. So this should be right in their wheelhouse because they don't have to have the same kind of textures that you want out of an actual actor likeness. So I think that's good. I really like it. Sideshow doesn't have a great track record with the bodies of their 6 scales. This is like a completely like new type of body for them. I'm hoping that that's a good thing rather than more of the same. We'll find out, but fingers crossed on that. I definitely like this line because I also think this might be the only way we potentially get a Mace Windu. Or an Asajj Ventress in 6 scale. So, because Hot Toys, at least so far, hasn't really been forthcoming with those characters. So I'm hopeful that we can get something like that. People are a little, saying that like the price is a little bit high. On the one hand, maybe yes. There's when you think about it, I don't know what kind of plethora of accessories he would really come with anyway. But for me, it's $255. It's like Sideshow, and again, I've got no love for them, but they basically see a gap in the market where there's a lot of demand and no competition for this animated
Brendan,
style. Yeah.
These figures cost $390 each here in Australia, not including shipping. So
Wow.
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't $250. If I could get this for $250, I'd be really happy. But $390 each is what I paid.
Everybody on Justin's next stream, throw a couple extra super chats because that's rough. That is rough.
Yeah, it's pricey. Sideshow very, very expensive for
Which
us in
shows it's
Australia.
all relative.
So.
Like everybody's got their own situation and stuff.
Exactly.
So you can't just make a blanket statement across the board about something being overpriced or not. Because ultimately, if you just go nuts for Clone Wars, if it's the end all be all to you, then $255 might be a steal for you. And somebody else who likes it but isn't diehard would rather it be like $200 or something. So, it is what it is. I'm okay with the price. And basically, like I said, they saw a gap in the market where there's no competition as far as the animated style of figures. So they can price it at $255 and then, we'll see how it unfolds and whether or not they went too high or they hit the mark. That's just kind of, you roll the dice on that, but I'm okay with it.
Gotcha. That's still an enabler. The everyday collector, man, my bro, one of the smoothest voices I've ever heard.
Yeah.
What you think about this piece, man?
I think they did really well. I agree with you guys. I'll mirror off what you guys have said. It's very aesthetically pleasing. The robes, the fabrics they used, and so forth. It displays very well. I do agree. Missed opportunity with the base, and I do want to see it in hand. With Sideshow, the bodies and the joints is something that I worry about. But,
Can we tell from these pictures if it's single jointed or double? Have we been able to figure that out?
I don't think so.
Apparently, people are saying that it's single.
That would be par for the course for Sideshow. So yeah.
Yeah.
With such a thin arm as well, I would probably be okay with that, especially with the track record of getting really loose over time.
Yeah.
Because this, as you said, is all new body. I don't know. I reckon the first couple are going to be really good, and then as they start to reuse, because it's just a generic male body, right? I'm pretty sure Anakin and Obi-Wan are using the same bodies, just with different ankle extenders for the different heights. As we get a Mace Windu and a Count Dooku, and hopefully this line continues, the same body will be used again and again, the same molds. Maybe it's going to be like the clones, where like the later ones, my Captain Rex, the Phase 2, which was their last clone, he literally cannot stand up. He is that loose.
Wow.
So I hope that this does not happen with these guys. So I'm going out on a limb, and I've put the pre-order in. I'm just hoping, please let these bodies be good. They've learned from the last batch.
Justin likes to
Let's
live
not
dangerously.
give them that much credit.
I do.
I wouldn't. Let them prove once or twice that they can learn from past mistakes before we.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we
Actually,
give
I
them some
haven't
credit,
seen much-
exactly.
Like
I haven't seen
I'm
much
not
learning from
expecting to
them
be able
yet.
to display these without the stand. Like I'm not expecting to be able to have them up without the stand at all.
That's fair. I think that the stands will be required. It's just I'm probably going to go out and buy some custom display bases for these guys. Some nice hexagonal style Hot Toys, the thinner ones that don't make them so overly tall. Sideshow ones are chonky. Just
Or
that
you just
Clone
do what
Wars
Jetta
logo
did
up
and
on
just
top.
go out and get a rock from outside.
I don't know about that. I don't know about the rock idea. Maybe.
So you notice I'm crossing my fingers right now, right? Because we always have to go to WillFoxification. He's a wild card of all. He's always a wild card of the show because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Oh, he's not getting these.
Yeah,
100%.
we are, but he could surprise. See, that's what I'm saying. I think that, but I'm going to see if he surprises us. So let me just cross the fingers and just take a deep breath.
I'm happy to go, but Jonathan, do you have any more to say about it? Because I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
I know you didn't get to say too much, but
No, I agree with everyone, and I'm just saying that the potential for this line, what Sideshow's opened up, the floodgates, so much potential, which is exciting.
Now, John, let me ask you a quick question though. Do you think, because of some of the reveals that we got, do you think, and I'm hoping, do you think that we're going to get the Ahsoka? We're going to get the animated Ahsoka version?
It would be very nice. I don't know if Sideshow wants to go head to head with Hot Toys though, because we're getting her from Hot Toys.
But I guess Hot Toys
they've
did
done it
the
before.
Anakin. Yeah.
They've
They've
did
done
the
Anakin as well. Yeah, that's true.
Remember Return of the Jedi Luke? They literally released them for pre-order at the same time, which was like,
And we know how that went.
And they did like Mythos Vet and
Bold
stuff.
strategy,
so.
Cotton.
You know what? Nothing surprises me anymore, so I wouldn't be surprised. Fingers crossed, right? Leo?
It's not like
Another new
Hot
body,
Toys is
though.
worried about Sideshow doing something better than them. Like,
No, actually,
I think we can dispel
right.
that. So
Yeah, and I think John, I think that possibly because I think that they can capitalize on this because everyone was actually asking for the animated version of Ahsoka, so they could, there is an opportunity there. So I don't know, we'll see. But okay, WillFoxification, aka Pretty Boy, bro. Like, what's your take on this, man? Could be surprised, but I don't think I am. Go.
See, here's the thing on this one. So I think this looks really good, right? It looks really good. I know Brandan said no blanket statements. I'm going to throw a blanket statement out there. This is overpriced. I'm sorry. I get Australia. It's more expensive. I totally understand. But for us here in the States, for us here in the States, $255 for this figure comes with almost virtually nothing. I mean, like a lightsaber in a couple hands and a base that has nothing on it. So it does look great, no doubt about it. It looks like a really good figure. Not to be too overly negative about it, because I do want to praise the figure. It looks really good. But in my opinion, I just feel like even if I love Clone Wars, which I don't, but even if I did, I would be a little upset with the price. Because if you're going to charge Hot Toys prices, you have to be Hot Toys quality. And with Sideshow's track record with these bodies, the face sculpt looks really good because I'm going to echo the sentiments of everyone else. Like, it's animated, so it's flat, it's easier to do, right? So Sideshow's better at that. So like this looks a lot better than it would look if they tried to do what Hot Toys did, where they did like a mix of both, right? They did like a combination of live action versus animated. So this looks great. I mean, I honestly think this looks a lot better than the Obi-Wan myself. I think the Obi-Wan's good,
Agreed.
but I think the Anakin, I think the Anakin's a lot better. I think the Anakin is a step higher in terms of quality, but like we know, I've never actually. Well, I have the C-3PO, and it's actually pretty good. The body's pretty good so far, but I've just heard a lot of horror stories with Sideshow's bodies from Justin and everyone else. Just about just loose joints, collapsing, everything like that. So for me, like that, if you're gonna charge Hot Toys prices, you got to be Hot Toys quality. That's kind of what we always say in our streams. So like for me, it looks great. It looks great, but it just to me, I think it's overpriced, and I just think it's very. There's not much to it, and for me, you guys have heard me talk about this before. Like, I can't get into Clone Wars because I've tried. I feel like I should be watching it at the daycare. Like, I mean, it's so kiddie that like the first couple seasons, I heard that changes.
You gotta watch from like season 3 or 4 on. That's when it really gets good.
That's what I've heard. Like, I've watched some clips from later seasons. I'm like, holy shit, this is sick. Like, and this is like,
I've tried as well. I've tried as well. I literally just went through that list of top 20 episodes to watch before season 7, and then I just watched those 20 and then season 7, because the stuff in between, even Bad Batch, I'm like, what am I watching?
Right,
is this
exactly.
Cartoon Network?
Should I be watching it with my kids? Yeah, like it's
it weirded me out. But then there's some like really dark moments, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it is a show for adults then, and then it goes straight back to like the goofy. I'm like,
it's like 3 or 4 episodes per season are for
it's funny that Optical says that, because he totally agrees with me, and I was just about to say that he feels exactly.
Well,
he watched like 2
just likes to instigate.
He watched like 2 episodes, and he was like, I can't watch any more of it. Like, I've watched like almost the whole first season, and I've really tried, and every time I watch it, I'm like, some of it's good. Like Justin said, like some of it's kind of dark. There's some dark stuff in it, but then most of it, I'd say like 70% of it, the first season at least, is like, like I feel like they changed their audience later on from what I've heard. In the beginning, it's kind of like, oh, this is for kids, and they're like, oh, kids aren't really watching it. Let's make it for adults, and that's kind of what I think happened from what I've been told. But for me, I'm happy you guys are all getting this figure. It looks great. It's just a little highly priced for me, just based on what it is.
I want to ask you something, Will, because saying that that you feel it's overpriced.
Yeah.
One thing, and I totally get like the amount of. Optical.
He does.
The amount of accessories that come with something are oftentimes, something that people factor into when they're looking at if the price is warranted or not, right? But the truth of the matter is, like, you're not selling a figure based on how much it costs to make, all right? You're not, man, they're just turning on you, Will.
I know.
Oh, you're not necessarily...
We'll get to Jetta later.
I agree with you, Will.
You're not necessarily pricing a figure based on how much it costs, right? If you look at Star Wars is not that big in Hong Kong, okay? I think it's not that Troopers are not that expensive to make. I think it's that Troopers are not that profitable for them in the Asian markets, so they're not priced so they're not priced super high, okay? An Iron Man, they sell the hell out of those things, okay? And now obviously there's die-cast elements, I get that. Yeah. But I think one thing we have to recognize is that the price of a product in any industry is not just solely determined by how expensive it was to make or how much stuff that comes with it. It's also based in large part on demand, on how hot something is, okay? And if they realize there's a lot of demand in a market for something, then they can sell it at a higher price point because people are going to want to buy it. So I think when we say that $255 in the US or $8,000 for Justin, however much it is in Australia, it's like
$8,500.
When we say that it's overpriced, and again, this is not somebody. I'm not someone who has any love for Sideshow in term. I'm not saying let them charge what they want. I just think that $255. I know as a fan of the Clone Wars, I'm down for that. So I don't think it's necessarily we got to look at like, not enough accessories come with it, and it's a simple figure. Now, quality, yes, does play a role. We don't know what this is going to be like until we actually get it in hand, and that's one of the downsides of it. But I just think that there's something where we have to recognize that when there's a niche in there that they can fill the demand for. There you go, Jedi.
Yeah,
I think that we have to factor that into what something is priced at, as well as things like accessories and
Sure, and we'll see.
So I just think that some people sometimes forget about that part, and a company trying to make money. Like, people have been complaining about Hot Toys prices going up for a while. Realistically, the Asian market Hot Toys prices haven't gone up as much. It's more the U.S. market. It's the prices in North America that Sideshow sets as the distributor.
Right.
If you look at the increases, the prices in Hong Kong have really not gone up that much. Way more in the U.S. So,
Well, like here's a
Brandan,
question. Like,
thank you.
yeah. So here's a question.
You're
Like
welcome.
the Hot Toys Anakin, that's from Clone Wars, right? That's $260. What do you think people are mostly going to go for? Like, do you
The
think
Hot
people
Toy-
are going to buy the Sideshow, or if this is
Not
basically the same
over-
price? Yeah, you know what I mean.
Not over the Hot
Like-
Toys one, I don't
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
I've
That's
never
my point.
really understood the price debate, though. Like, last night I reviewed a Queen Studios Wonder Woman bust, and that thing costs, what, $3,000
That thing's
plus
incredible,
dollars?
though. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a kidney and a half.
That, honestly, it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. It's on
Dude,
loan,
it's
I
so
have to send
good.
it back.
They're gorgeous.
It is
yeah.
so
Yeah.
good. But, like, that thing is $3,000 plus dollars. Is that also, like, too expensive? Because that's really expensive, and it doesn't move at all. And it
the
doesn't come
market
with
will
anything.
dictate whether people buy it or not. Will dictate whether or not they were right in their pricing.
I've
That's just
never
the way it works.
really that's why I don't bring up price in my reviews, right? Because
Right.
Number one, I pay more than domestic price anyway,
Yeah.
so I would be unfairly saying, oh well, I paid $500 for this, therefore I expect it to be the best thing on the planet.
Yeah, it's not apples to apples comparisons.
Yeah, because price is so as we've just discussed with prices here in Australia, it's if I was to try and talk about this thing as a $400 figure, then whoa, okay, then
Yeah.
we're in a completely different realm altogether. So I think at the end of the day, it's only worth what you're willing to pay for it. So if it's not worth $250, then people aren't going to buy it,
Right.
and then Sideshow will hopefully get the message. But I also think that this new body, whatever the heck they've done in terms of engineering, that's probably where some of the cost comes from, because one of the most expensive things when producing figures is brand new bodies.
Just like
That's
Cyborg
why-
for Hot Toys.
Right. Yeah, for
Cyborg,
sure.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Groot.
So
yeah,
I think
you know.
these two, Obi-Wan and Anakin, will be the ones to gauge the interest with the higher price, and then we'll see if it goes down. I highly doubt it now that they've set that 250. I think that'll be the benchmark. But yeah, I'm curious to see going forward if that price drops. I mean, look at something like the 3-0 Power Rangers. They are
super cheap. Yeah.
perfect price point. And they come with more than Anakin and Obi-Wan if we're talking about accessories for your bang for your buck or whatever. But I think Sideshow has gotten used to that level when it comes to some of their stuff. Grievous is what, $285? I think, in
285,
America? $285.
I'd be afraid to just look at that thing for it to fall over.
He just like collapsed.
Just like
Yeah.
he coughs. and
Mine
just
is
falls
the
right
one.
over.
The 1.0 that I have is like
falling
it
apart.
But it's got a new
But
cape.
then again,
Yeah.
yeah, new cape. But then again, the new one looks like it falls over too, like on Sideshow's live stream that they were missing, and it literally just fell over on their live stream, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I thought you improved the job.
I get what you're saying, Justin. To me though, I just feel like, with us collectors, I feel like most of us have to be pretty selective with what we buy, right? So I feel like a big consideration when you're purchasing something is price. That might be the second biggest thing besides how it looks, right? So what I'm saying, like when I criticize a price, I'm more looking at what the market has already dictated for these types of pieces, right? I'm
I
looking
wish
at
you
Hot
worked
Toys.
at Sideshow and told them that.
You know what I mean? I'm looking at like Hot Toys, what their current prices are looking like. I'm looking at sort of like what Sideshow previous figures are looking like, and then inflation, all that factoring into it. So to me, when I'm looking at current market, like I get the concept of like what you're willing to pay for it. But if that's the case, then most collectors are going to bankrupt themselves pretty quickly. I mean, because like if you're paying, outrageous prices, then you can't get other things that you want. So like I feel like price is such a big consideration for most collectors. That's kind of why, in my opinion, like it's very important, like to look at that,
mean,
But as a collector, I know we
do-
want everything, but it's just not practical for most of us. So I mean,
Correct.
it's
Yeah.
So like, and I also get what Brendan's saying about the Queen Studios bus, like, or Justin, one of you was saying like that might be overpriced to some, but based on the materials and what the market has dictated for one-to-one busts, like to me, I think that's pretty consistent with the market. What Sideshow has done is just a little bit ahead of what the market has dictated for their pieces. So, like, in my
think
opinion, based on the
At
quality.
the end of the day, I think it's a probably a little bit dangerous for me to say this, but I do see the comments on my videos a lot. Oh, Hot Toys are dropping too much. I can't keep up. It is, and I don't mean to say this, and I don't mean to rule anyone out, but it is high-end collecting at the end of the day. Like, there are so many different figures and price points and styles. Like, we have this fully die-cast 3.0 Mark 43 that I reviewed yesterday. $89.
It's
Like,
it's
that is
sick.
insanely cheap
Yep.
for something that
3.0
can
is
do what
just-
this thing can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their pricing
I mean,
is the best. Yeah.
It's fantastic, but then again, there are companies that will see fit to charge more for their things, and I don't know if I've never really subscribed to that nature of, oh well, this Hot Toys are dropping too much, they're too expensive, therefore I can't afford to get them all. They don't really accommodate every single budget out there, right? They go for making the best product they can. I'm talking about Hot Toys, not Sideshow. Sideshow's a whole different kettle of fish, right?
Yeah, right.
But I've just never really subscribed to that. It's too expensive. Like, now is such a great time for collecting because there are payment plan options.
Sure.
And you can spread out that. But like, that sort of stuff for me was never really accessible because down here in Australia we didn't have access to Sideshow payment plans. But nowadays you can do over 12 months and you can do all this sort of stuff. So it becomes a lot more accessible. But at the end of the day, it's still high-end collecting. And
Sure.
when it comes to other high-end stuff like, I don't know, watches, they're in the same realm as high-end statues. I don't see the watch collectors saying, oh, Rolex, you're dropping too much heat over there.
You're too good at your job.
Correct. I see
Yeah.
Hot Toys product as the Rolex of toy collecting, but it's also still relatively accessible. I mean, there are more
Sure.
expensive things out there than Hot Toys if we factor in. Not to discourage anything that you're saying, Will, but like,
No, I get what you mean. Yeah.
it's hard to keep all, because I know it's great to fight for the little guy, and you know it's good to always keep in mind that not everyone can be as frivolous at spending as some of we are.
Right. Us
But
collectors.
also it is high end, pricey goods. There are
Sure.
so many great options out there these days.
Right.
Hey, Jonathan, you was about to say something, man?
I was gonna say I wanted to pick Justin's brain for a moment because we're talking about the high end collecting. How do you feel about Hot Toys and reissues?
Yeah, I mean,
Should've
they've never
known.
been limited edition items, so I don't have an issue. I'm more for, if you want something and it's made available to you where it wasn't previously, that's a good thing. That's a win. Like, right now, I want to get a Mark 42 diecast because I'm a moron and I didn't pick it up the first time. And I bought the quarter scale one and I was like, oh, that's perfect for me. All I need is the quarter scale. I don't need the 1/6 scale. Why would I need that? And now I'm trying to get one and he's pricey. If they were to reissue it, I'm very happy because now I can get it. Same thing with the Mark 5. So many people were asking for the Mark 5. They did the Whiplash 2.0. So the writing was kind of on the wall there. They're like, hey, we're doing Whiplash. You're going to get a Mark 5. So I'm fine with the reissues, to be honest. They've never been, to me, these limited edition, super rare things. I like that if people can afford it and want to get them, they should be able to get them. So I think the reissues are great.
Okay.
Okay.
John
What
is
about
the
you,
opposite.
John?
He's the opposite.
I can. Feel
really?
I can just feel my blood boiling. No, I'm kidding.
I'm with you,
No,
Justin.
I'm
with
kidding.
you on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well-
it's great when everybody can. I don't know. Okay, Leo, what were you gonna say?
I see both sides. I understand both
Nah,
sides, Jonathan.
I
do.
mean,
Yeah, I get it too.
Yeah.
I get it. You want the
Yeah,
price, you want
yeah.
your investment to either appreciate or stay where it's at. And most of the time, even if there is a reissue, you won't lose value on
No,
your original.
exactly.
It maybe will come down from that crazy high that it was at,
right.
but it won't be below what you paid for it.
I'm
And
just
I
used
often
to.
see-
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, I was about to
No,
say,
no.
I often see people say like, "Oh, well, if you didn't buy all this stuff, then you could buy a mansion or something."
Yeah,
but they
second
forget
house.
that like the value's not gone. If we wanted to, we could still sell it pretty much for what we paid for it, unless it's
Sure.
something really bad. Then it will have dropped down. But most of the time, it stays around where even if there is a reissue, you haven't lost any money. Let's just say.
See,
I
I don't basically mind. Like for me, I don't mind reissues. I guess the problem. Okay, here's the thing. I don't mind the reissues. It's just that when you're doing reissues of the same IP, the same product, and you're not touching everything
You
else.
want more variety.
Variety,
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who pretty much you know, for instance, if we mention Star Wars, there's a lot of people that didn't actually get their hands on the Jen Erso when it was released. A lot of people didn't actually get their hands on the Jen Erso Disguise. Me myself, I have both of them. I'm happy I have them both, and I'm so excited. But the thing is, it's like jump around the IPs. Don't just actually just keep releasing Iron Man figures. Because it's like, yo, you're missing the point of individuals who haven't actually got a chance to get other figures that might have, you know, it might have been lucrative at that point to kind
You're not against reissues. You just want more variety in general.
more variety. I'm not yeah.
That's just like, I'm fine with reissues. I understand the argument that some people make for not being thrilled with them, including wanting more variety and not it always being the same type of releases. For me, I collect because I want cool stuff to look at in my house. That's why I collect. I don't care if Hot Toys makes 10 of these or 10 million, okay? I don't care if everybody else on my block has one of these in their collection room, if they have a collection room. As long as I have it in mind and I get to look at cool stuff when I want to in my house, I'm good. It doesn't bother me how many other are out in the wilderness. You know, I understand that there's some cool things to be like, oh, there's a limited run, you know, like statue, and you've got like number 3 out of, you know, 250 or so. Like, I get there's a little bit of an extra buzz from that, but me, I just like, I collect for me. I'm not collecting for secondary market resale value. And I'm not collecting, so, you know, when I have something, I don't feel better because other people don't have it. Because to me, I'm kind of like, well, that's kind of a dick thing. Like, if somebody wants it, like, I want them to be able to have it. You know, it's I'm not saying people who are against reissues are like trying to prevent other people from having cool stuff. I just think sometimes, you know, people lose sight of the fact that like there are people coming into this hobby, you know, every day because this thing is exploding. What, you know, look at the Facebook community numbers and stuff, and how many people there are now versus there was a year ago or 2 or 5 years ago. So if people come in and it's like Rogue One is your favorite Star Wars movie, and you want to get Jin and you want to get, you know, Chirrut Imwe, K2, yeah, exactly. Then, you know, it doesn't bother me because I have those that. You know, or if I buy them on the secondary market and then a couple months later they put, you know, those out as reissues, that's the risk you run when you go and you buy stuff on the secondary market in any type of collecting. So I'll be like, damn it, that sucks.
Show off.
But I'm not going to be mad about it. You know what I mean?
And that's what's great about this community is everybody's different, and
100%.
Everybody can collect the way they like, and there's so much variety and so forth. When it comes to reissues for me, see, I started collecting at a time where reissues weren't a thing. The Godfather, Blade, King Leonidas, Hellboy, like those, they're not going to be reissued. It wasn't a reissue. If you looked on the boxes of some of those, it actually stated limited edition collectible. And all the power to them if they're going to do reissues. 100% new collectors and so forth, but don't do a straight reissue. Leave some integrity, leave some meat on the bone for the original release.
Like do a new accessory
or fantastic,
like
exactly.
Head sculpt. So I get that makes sense.
A fantastic example of that is the Two-Face that they did. The original one came with the Harvey Dent undamaged face sculpt and the undamaged suit. But the 2.0 only comes with the damaged Two-Face. Fantastic. You keep the integrity of the original release.
What qualifies that? Like I mean, Whiplash, for example, it was improved in like, you know, the paint applications, the tattoos, the skin texture, the you know, the whips, like they were a little bit sturdier on this round. Does it have to be like new like accessories and stuff, or can it be like an actual improvement to the engineering and the structure and the paint work on the figure?
See, if they were to, I don't think Whiplash would constitute as a like the paint application may constitute as an improvement, but they didn't fix the color of the pants. The pants are still the wrong color. Yeah. You want to give,
to my understanding, that's actually a licensing issue.
For sure.
That's what I heard.
Apparently, yeah.
Now, listen, I will say that I'm happy that they did reissue the Mark V because that was one of the suits. That's my favorite suit of all time. and I didn't actually get the first issue. So basically, to have that one now, and they are reissuing that one, and I actually get a chance to get it.
And doing the suit up version.
Exactly, and I'm excited about actually having that. I'm fine with those. I mean, because it makes perfectly good sense. And then on top of that,
And it's a different figure.
and it's like I wanted it, so I'm so glad that I actually got it. And paid it off. So once it's ready, I have it in hand. I'm truly excited about that. But I just think that, like I said, of course, there should be, more variety. Now, case in point, though, when we talk about reissues, it's good to do reissues as long as the reissues are great. As long as the quality and the integrity of the character, either it enhances that or it's great.
Grievous.
After listen, exactly,
Something
and that's where I was going. Like, you know what I mean? This person basically mentioned
where
it.
that came from.
Like, I pre-ordered Grievous. I did because I didn't actually. Me and Will, we both did it at the same time. Remember?
Yeah,
because we
I
thought
canceled
about
mine.
doing it. Yeah, and see
How
that's
dare you?
I know.
and see that's the thing. Like, I haven't
John looks stunned.
It was a
It's like,
trap.
I haven't canceled it yet, but it's just the simple
But you're
fact
gonna.
that I'm wondering if I should because I'm
now I'm
hearing
wondering
so
if
many.
I should.
See?
Yeah, you know what I
See,
mean?
Justin?
It's reverse enablement.
No.
Reverse
Y'all should.
enabling.
It's because like and but at the same time I'm wondering because remember it was supposed to be released, right? And they kind of pushed
Yeah.
it a little bit. I'm wondering if they're hearing all of these complaints and they're going back to the drawing board and saying,
I don't think so.
I don't think they will.
and I don't think they will.
I can
which
unequivocally nope.
they'll have to. Well, I mean, if they can't redo the figure, then they're going to redo that damn stand.
People will
They're
still
not
buy
gonna
it.
go-
That
Oh,
stand
yeah.
is trash. Yeah.
Think
You know what
about
I
it.
mean?
The
So
investment that they made in what they had already started to produce, they're not going to go back to square one to try and that's Sideshow. They're not going back and trying to
No way. To re-engineer it? No
It's
way.
just not going to happen. So that's why I'm comfortable. Here's the thing: just like life-size Groot, okay, they are going to mass produce the hell out of that Grievous. Okay, it's not going to sell out anytime soon. They're going to have that on the shelves for a while. That's why I'm totally fine with let it come out, let Justin get it and review it so we can all be safe.
Be the scapegoat, Justin.
And
I will.
And then
I'll do it.
If it's legit, if it's worth it, I know I'll be able to pick it up once it's released. I'm not worried about pre-ordering it. It's just that's not something, I'll pre-order Hot Toys. I'll
Yeah.
pre-order So-So Toys because they have just been crushing it lately, okay? Sideshow, I'm sorry, they have not earned that trust from me, but I also know because they'll make so many of them
Ooh.
that I'm willing to wait and I'm not worried about missing it. I'm just not.
So what you're saying, Brendan, is that Anakin at $255 is overpriced. Because you just
circle,
said
right
Sideshow has not earned
All right.
it. So
We'll
Touche.
allow it. We'll go with
Touche.
it.
Yep.
Someone in the chat, though, Ekwon, did say, and very rightly so, that the local market always dictates the demand, including reissues. Like, I think, Lael, you were talking about Star Wars stuff being reissued. The Coruscant Guard, I think this is a really primo example. The Coruscant Guard, you know how we see those pictures of those boxes being wheeled up to Secret Base whenever, and it's, people say,
Yeah.
oh, it's released. Couple of boxes on a trolley. For the entire of the country of Hong Kong, that one trolley was all of the Coruscant Guards for the whole country. That was the entire amount that was ordered. So in Hong Kong, because they are a domestic product, like how Marvel Legends is an American domestic product, right? They don't cater to the demands of Australian fans or Hong Kong-based fans or Japanese fans. They focus on American collectors. Same thing with Hong Kong. They're a domestic Hong Kong-based company. So in Asia, Iron Man is like... I can't even explain. It is the number one. Like, it sells
Like Lay's
out
chips.
immediately. Lines down the street trying to pre-order the Iron Man, the diecast Mark 1. It was literally down the street.
Wow.
So I think Iron Man is just... It's just a short thing. And I think that's probably why we're never going to see any... I don't think we'll ever see any Star Wars reissues after they did Han and Chewie. I think that was the last one, right? A New Hope,
Yeah.
Han and Chewie was the last reissue
that's
they
actually
ever
a good
did.
point. Yeah, you don't see Star Wars reissues. Yeah.
You don't. You don't.
Yeah.
No.
You don't.
Same with
you don't.
DC. Like, you get new versions of DC characters, like DX-19 Batman. He's a new and improved, bigger body, etc. Different accessories. But I don't think we're ever going to see, like, a straight-up reissue of I don't even know, Arkham Knight Batman
Yeah.
or Arkham City Batman or anything. So I think the only one in danger of getting a straight up reissue is
Don't say it,
Iron Man.
Justin.
Everything else will get a different
Yeah.
2.0, a
God
change. And I think that should hopefully make.
I just want to point
Well,
out.
wait. Hurt was
Darth
broken.
Vader, they did it kind of with the 40th anniversary version. It's
Yeah.
kind of different, but
Does
it's,
that
it's
count?
the same figure.
It's
kinda
different
counts.
packaging, and it's
Yeah,
supposed
it's the
to be
same
like,
exact figure though. And
it's-
Boba,
It is
they
the
did
same
yeah.
exact figures.
Right.
But you're-
Boba is oh, then again, Boba comes with the deluxe stuff where previously you might
okay.
not, because I didn't get the deluxe stuff the first time.
Every Vader is essentially a reissue, though, because it's not like there's a whole lot of variety.
The cod
in terms
piece is
of
different or
what it
the
looks like.
armor.
I do
but-
just
Yeah.
want to point out, though, that in the chat that Jeddah said that Sideshow doesn't listen to complaints; they just ban. I think that's fairly accurate.
We don't want to
'cause
get into that now.
I feel like there's a good number
Get
of
your
people
lawyers
on this
ready.
panel and in the chat alone that have been banned by them. So it's true.
Jeddah banned me too, though, so I've been banned multiple places.
Well, he didn't ban. He just muted you.
He
for a
timed
little-
out
He
me.
put you in. He put you in the timeout in a corner because you got fresh and you had to be
Well,
taught a lesson.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like it's where the conversation was headed.
Well, listen, you know what? I'm not even going to go to the next figure because it was the Obi-Wan, and we've already covered pricing.
Yeah, duh.
So yeah, we're not even going to.
My one thing on that though is I kind of wish that they did that they
armor?
offered the armor as like
Yeah.
additional pieces. If they offered the armor on Obi-Wan as like you could add it on, I don't think people would complain about the price then.
What about a swap out outfit for Anakin as well with the chest armor and the different robes?
Yeah,
That would've been awesome.
like the one that the Hot Toys ones are coming with.
Yes, I would have. I would have put money down on that they were going to do that, but I think they had a very strict parameter or thing that they had to work towards to be able to make these.
And
If
probably
you'll
also
notice-
just separate theirs from Hot Toys a little
Correct.
bit. So
If you'll notice, there's not much animated Clone Wars merch, especially nowadays. Like even the Black Series are doing have to do realistic takes because I think Disney has this weird mandate that the films are the prime, right? Even the Clone Wars is meant to be those exact same people from the films. So when you're watching Clone Wars, you're watching an extension of the films. So everything based off anything Star Wars needs to look like anything Anakin needs to be Hayden Christensen because
Yeah.
that is Anakin. He literally is Anakin. Whereas with Disney's What If stuff, they're doing the opposite approach. We don't want to confuse audiences that this is Haley Atwell as Captain America. We want to make very, very clear that it's a completely separate universe, animated figures only.
although it still
Marvel
does look a
Legends?
little bit like Haley Atwell.
It
The
does,
Steve
but you're
Rogers
not gonna
not so much,
confuse-
but
Correct. You're not going to confuse that Steve Rogers for Chris Evans as Steve Rogers. The Peggy one is a lot closer, but I think that's just down to the animation. The animation
Yeah.
was just a lot closer to how she actually looked. Whereas I think with the Clone Wars stuff, I don't know what Sideshow had to do to be able to make these, but I reckon there would have been some discussions, and it would have been going on for a while. That's why we didn't see this go up for pre-order ages ago, because let's be honest, they don't look any different from the first prototypes that we saw at all. They look exactly the same.
no. I will say
so
that
I reckon
there's
there was a lot of
maybe
back
a
and
little
forth.
bit of hope that we'll actually get more in this line, get Ahsoka, get Mace Windu. For one, if they've
think
got the
male
license,
characters?
you've got to
Yes.
do those because those are the ones that people have been clamoring for. But also, like we talked about with Cyborg and stuff like that, when you're creating a brand new body, you think about it, Sideshow wants to get the most that they can out of this new type of animated style body. And so if that investment, I feel like they're going to want to be able to create other characters in that line so they can, because
Mace
otherwise they're
Windu,
never going to use those bodies
Count
again
Dooku.
after Anakin and Obi-Wan. So I think maybe that gives us a little bit more hope that we'll actually get some more in this line, assuming they don't suck.
Okay, so we're
see.
we're going to switch some gears then, because I'm not even going to actually bring that one up. I'm gonna go to a figure that pretty much got its release, and which it's come with mixes, but for me, I thought it was pretty decent so far. And I think Justin, you'll probably get this one in. I kind of wanted to go to like a
Ooh.
third-party product and just kind of
Oh.
go around the table.
He has it.
Get it in. I
You
have
got
it right
it
here.
You got it. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, boy. I haven't opened it yet, actually. Shall we?
Oh, sure. I'm down.
Yeah, okay. Let's have a look.
I got Homelander, Justin, but I want to see the Butcher. So Homelander's coming
Okay,
out
well,
at some point.
I like the art, first of all. I don't know, do people collect these for the art? I like this art. It looks
It's the
That
art
looks
is
dope.
incredible.
That looks good.
I like the sepia. I can hear stuff rattling around, and that's never a good sign.
Hopefully it's not
Okay.
broken in
Oh,
half.
please tell me this baby comes with batteries. All right. That's the first time I've ever said that. You get
That was
you get
a weird
little pamphlet-
sentence, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Everything looks to be, except for his leg is kind of a bit wonky.
Did they use the same style batteries like that, like 3-0 figures use? The like kind of watch
It comes
style,
with
like...
batteries.
Oh, it comes
first of
with,
all.
okay.
Yeah, there's watch batteries, it looks like.
It comes
I've
with
never
also-
had a
what are they-
so-so figure with batteries. Hopefully they're better than
neither.
the Hot Toys battery life.
What do they call the chemical that they use in the show? V?
Oh, Compound V.
Compound V, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I literally
That's what they give you in.
would have had to
That's
look
what.
that up.
That's what powers.
His legs are a bit wonky out of the box, but let's rectify. Okay, let's have a look.
That's
You know
Carl
what?
Urban.
That's
right
pretty
there.
good.
That's pretty freaking good. The other head,
Yeah, I'm with
Hold
you,
on.
Justin. The other head gives me nightmares. I see it in my nightmares.
The other head, yeah.
Yeah, the other head is.
let's see.
I'm just waiting for somebody to make the Paul Rudd like comparison.
Wow.
from
Is that
an
Wolverine?
angle like I don't know.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
some angles, it looks okay, like maybe there.
Right.
But from oh my god, from from below, it's definitely a no.
Kill it with fire.
But when you get the shadows on it, I don't know.
It's all about
not
the
great.
placement and the light. But yeah, when you tilt it up like that, it's just a big ball of bash.
Jeez.
Oh my.
But hey,
yeah,
you know
okay,
what?
there's
That's
a
the
smell
swap out head
coming from
sculpt.
this
At
box.
least one of them they nailed, you know, and
Yes,
that's good.
they
I mean,
did.
So-So
Oh,
Toys
and-
has been just absolutely crushing it lately.
So-So Toys is my favorite third-party company. I don't know if this is common knowledge or not, but there's a ton of accessories with this thing. They actually are
don't
working
skimp.
with an
don't skimp.
employee who used to work with official companies to do all of the prototype outfit designs. I didn't realize he came with a huge sniper rifle.
It's a
So
lot
yeah,
of
they've actually got
accessories.
employees who used to work for. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the company or not.
Hey Justin, I think you just I think you just got me a butcher, bro.
Oh really?
The fiance said
fiance seems
you
to
see,
approve,
You
so
see what the
there you go.
fiance said? I think she basically approves. So I think you just got me a butcher,
Yep.
bro.
He's hard
See?
to find though, Leal.
See?
Be careful.
Jeez.
This is one goofy.
That's
looking baby, I
creepy.
have to say.
That's creepy. That's
At
Yeah,
least
he's
the baby
dead.
has
He's
but
batteries.
it's creepy.
You switch out his head to do the laser eye
that's safe.
thing. Yeah,
John
I'm
and Will,
pretty-
do you guys have any So-So Toys figures? I know Leal.
I will have Homelander, but that's the only one I'll have.
Homelander is
Not yet.
is gonna
Yeah.
be
None of
next
you
level.
guys got the Green Arrow? Dude, this
Yeah,
figure
Justin, the
is
Homelander I thought looked
insane.
especially good in the promos. Like
yeah,
I
that's
thought that looked.
because
yeah.
an ex. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name of the company. Should I? I don't know. I
Do
don't get in
it. Do
trouble.
it.
An ex Hot Toys employee did the outfit prototype for that. So all of the patterns
Wow.
are done by an official company employee, and they were sent to the factory, obviously, with all the instructions on how to recreate those patterns. So
Wow.
that's why the prototype looks so good, is it was because it was done by someone who knows how to do it
they're
right.
doing.
Well, hopefully they
Yeah.
can produce that level of quality. But
They usually don't see much of a drop off. The owner of So-So Toys is just a dude. He actually paints the prototypes himself. I think he does a pretty good job, to be
That's
totally
awesome.
honest. Yeah. So it's not just some random little like businessman who's just, oh yes, go and produce my figures. He actually makes the
You
prototypes
can tell
and
they
hand
put a
paints
lot
it
of
and-
care into those. I mean, like the Spider-Man Noir is
yeah.
great. I love that one.
Yeah.
I have
the
Black
Green
Suit-
Goblin that's coming out. Oh, I'm
Yep.
so excited for that Green Goblin.
Oh,
Black
yes.
Suit Netflix Daredevil.
Yes.
They really put a lot of effort into their stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like remember, Hot Toys started out as an unlicensed company,
People
That-
forget that.
so
We need some competition.
Maybe So-So Toys, at some point, maybe Hot Toys is just like, all right, we're finally willing to just let DC go, and then maybe So-So Toys or somebody comes in and
Come on now.
and-
Someone needs to get that DC license. How is there not a 1/6 scale Peacemaker or a new Harley from Suicide
Right.
Squad or Bloodsport? Like, how are these things not happening?
holding out
Going
hope.
in, I wasn't
I
really
think-
like,
yeah.
I need the Peacemaker, and then after seeing that movie, it's like, come on, Hot Toys, you got to.
And we got the show too, so maybe that will happen then.
That's
but-
true.
Yes.
That's true.
So,
They-
but I
like,
mean, I would
for
think
Suicide
Bloodsport.
Squ-
Yeah,
Yeah. What were you going to say, Will?
I would Bloodsport would at least be made But I mean, like, and
Absolutely.
King Shark they've already shown, so I would hope they'd make probably a Harley or 2 Harleys from this, King Shark and a Bloodsport. But I don't think I would expect anyone else. Especially
I
since the
hope
movie
they
kind of
make.
bombed.
I hope they make Bloodsport, because if they make Bloodsport, well, all right, you've got an Idris Elba head sculpt, so go back and give us an official Heimdall.
Heimdall. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Double dip into. That's
true.
why I've been waiting for them to do, Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins,
yes.
since they've got the Qui-Gon sculpt.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
And
Why haven't
that's why
they?
I'm
That's a good
hopeful that
point.
it's like, if we get a Natalie Portman from Love and Thunder, then they'll finally say, okay, yes, now we'll do the
Make
Padme.
Padme, yeah.
Now we'll do
double dip
Padme,
and make it
yes.
easier
But
with
they
resources.
got to make Bloodsport. The character was incredible. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
well,
and
he was the
he was
lead of the
he was the
movie.
lead.
He
I
was
mean, he
the
was the
lead.
main
was.
character.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
He was extremely incredible, and I'm glad to be. And you know what? And I think that there's
Imagine
hope
the
for it.
accessories.
Yeah, and I think there's
Oh,
hope for it
God.
if we basically got,
Well-
if we did basically get the Will Smith Deadshot, then pretty much I think that there's. But here's what I want. I want the Deadshot, but I was talking about this like even yes. I want. A lot of people basically want the Harley Quinn with the leather outfit. For some reason, she kind of like, I think that with the red dress, that would be incredible just to see it. Now, only if, and I'm not saying that they will, but only if they did like the seamless arms and the seamless, if they did a seamless body, that would be incredible. I'm not saying that they will, because we already know how that goes. But if they did, it would be perfect to me. I would actually get that version.
Yeah.
The red dress, I could see that. I mean, we had the dancer Harley previously, and they didn't go seamless because they couldn't figure out how to do the tattoos on seamless bodies. But we've seen companies do that now. I reviewed an Asmus figure with a seamless body, and he had tattoos all over. So if Asmus can do it, surely Hot Toys can figure out how to do tattoos
actually pull
on a
that
seamless
off.
body.
right.
Now, if we were to get Bloodsport or Peacemaker, would we get their weapons? Would
Yeah.
we get the guns? Is that because I know DC's really not wanting to put guns out with it? I don't know how that's affecting Hot Toys and stuff that was announced prior.
This guy, none of the figures in the McFarlane wave come with guns, but then again, this
But
guy
King Shark
he
can
comes-
bite somebody's head off and have that as an accessory in the
Correct.
packaging.
Yes, although apparently in the US, if you get the gold label King Shark, he doesn't have the blood around his mouth, whereas here he does. For other
Interesting.
markets, he does.
But it's like you can't do the Peacemaker without having that big ass gun.
And
Like,
same with Bloodsport,
yes.
really. I mean,
Yeah,
Bloodsport,
like,
but the cool
his
thing
whole
about
thing-
Bloodsport is his guns aren't really guns. Like they're just bits and pieces.
Yeah,
so,
that transform into
It's like a
Nano
nanotech.
gun.
Bloodsport.
Yeah,
Like,
nano
let's
gun.
not.
Yeah.
His name is Bloodsport. Let's not make it out to be like this. He's supposed to be, Barney the purple dinosaur. His name is Bloodsport. Okay, he's gonna come
Right.
with weapons.
Yeah.
I think for 18 plus figures, I think it's not a thing because I know Prime 1 are still including guns with like their Grim Knight Batman, for instance. They're not allowed to show them in the promo images,
Right.
but
Yeah.
they blur them out and they say, it's a Punisher version of Batman. It's going to come with guns.
So if it's something you get it for like $20 at like Target or Walmart or something, you're probably not gonna get the.
but then again, the
weapons,
Mafex, the Mafex figures are also considered high end, but they're not coming. They're also not allowed to come with guns. So then I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't know. He does use the sword and the hatchet in the film. I know not ideal,
Yeah.
but he does have other weapons. Same with Bloodsport, he uses swords. But if you're gonna do them, you
you gotta
come
give
on.
them guns. I mean,
Well,
like,
if they
on.
don't, then I mean that definitely it would impact Hot Toys because
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people would be like, well, look, I mean, if I'm paying this much for
Maybe
this
that's why they
figure,
don't wanna do it.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't impact.
We'll have
Jonathan,
wait
you
and
wanted to say
see.
something?
No, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I hope it doesn't affect it because
We don't even have Loki
guns-
figures yet. I don't
Nope.
know.
yeah,
The guns, bro. If they give us, like I said, and I think that they would. Hopefully they will. I mean, we'll see. I mean,
Nobody's
just-
inspired
my
by
biggest
Hot
thing
Toys
is
to go out and buy real guns. Like
my
that's
thing
just
is
not
my
a
thing is I hope that they basically don't just limit us with just. I mean, and I know they won't, but I'm hoping that because they to bring out King Shark, which I think I'm sold. I'll get that King Shark
need him.
because it looks
Yeah.
amazing. Like literally, like I loved him as a character in the movie, and to basically have him in hand, like
I wish
do
the Hot
love
Toy
it.
had a little blood in the mouth though.
They won't.
Yeah,
But
they won't do it.
who knows? But I don't think they will. But
Somebody
at
will
the
mod
same
that.
time, I'm just like, look, I'm glad we're getting that. I just hope that they don't stop there. But anyway, John, are you cool, man? You got to go at any time soon, bro?
yeah. I gotta get going because I gotta get ready
Okay.
for
okay.
we're gonna be doing unboxing. So
Okay.
Oh.
Well, definitely,
Yeah.
man. Like, put it, if I, like I said, depending on how everything goes after that, like, send me the link, man. I'll jump in most definitely just
Oh,
to
of
kind of see how
course.
that's going, man. Like, 'cause
I'll send
I
it, and-
definitely want to see it.
And thanks so much for the invite. You guys are honestly one of a kind. I love streaming with you guys because you guys are
Man, listen.
the
You're the man,
best.
John.
Anytime, bro. Like anytime you want to come in, I'm going to get you on here because you know what I mean. I gotta have that. The voice, the voice is just like it's like a tension tamer, bro. It's just like smooth, bro. Like this,
We're
like
always looking for a replacement for Will. So
I don't know. Those are pretty
speak so
big shoes
soon,
to
Brandan.
fill.
We're gonna find out.
Those are big shoes to fill.
definitely,
But,
man. But
I
glad
appreciate
to have
it.
you on, man.
All the best to you guys. Justin,
All
take
right.
care.
All
Talk
right,
to you later,
See you,
man.
man.
See
See
you
you,
later,
Jonathan.
bro. See you later, man. But so I wanted to bring up one last.
Can I, Leil,
Yeah.
before you bring up that topic, I want to ask Justin a quick question because I had asked you guys and I asked Ryan last time, but I wanted to see where Justin's on this. So lately, we've been seeing a lot of companies starting to make 6-scale statues. All right, so we've seen the XM one from XM for the Green Arrow that Leil and I both jumped on. The classic Iron Man suit from Kotobukiya, the Magneto from PCS. So I got super psyched about these. I've already pre-ordered a handful of them because I like the idea that the scale fits in my collection with Hot Toys, but they're in, they've got dioramas and dynamic poses that you either wouldn't be able to do with Hot Toys or you wouldn't be able to do for long without damaging them. So where do you stand on that? Are you psyched about? Because I know like Ryan got into it. He actually even, I think, mentioned it in his 6-scale news episode recently too. Are you interested in picking any of those up and trying to fit them in with your Hot Toys?
It's a tricky situation because statues, you really have to love that one pose.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily one to repose my stuff a lot, but I have found that when I come into the room and I see something that's not really doing it for me, and I just change the pose and I change the accessory, you kind of fall back in love with it. But I'm worried that when it comes to a statue, if you have that same thing and it doesn't come with any, I don't know if these 1/6 scale statues come with swap out bits and pieces. Some of them probably do. I don't know if that'll
Have
be
you seen
enough
any of
to.
them? Have you seen any
I
of the
have.
promos?
I
of them?
literally. I'll look at some. I'll look at it now actually while I'm talking. Kotobukiya, you said. What do they make?
Kotobukiya has a really, really nice, and actually that one is particularly relevant because it's the same type of classic armor that the
Iron Man, is
that
it?
Hot Toys is doing with the clear plastic piece over the torso.
Oh, he
And if
pricey.
a lot of people are not happy with that, then this is
People
another
complain
option in
about
that
the
same
price of
scale.
Sideshow.
I'm just going. I'm bringing something up because it has nothing to do with the discussion, but I'm just happy because I'm getting it, so I don't care what anyone says.
What do we
I'm just
get?
gonna
What do
bring it
we
up. This piece right here.
Oh, you're getting it?
Yes.
Oh, dude,
this is
he's definitely
Studios.
getting this. Right?
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Queen Studios
Yes.
nailed this.
I loved every minute of that. I was about to say my second point is I don't really like. I wouldn't really purchase statues for my own collection, but I love filming statues because, from my perspective, a good video shows just the product. You're not there to see me or my hands. You're there to see the thing, right? You're not buying me.
Yep.
So that's why you'll never see my face in a review because you're not buying me. And I see a lot of statue reviews with like the guy is like half the frame and the statue is the other half of the frame, and then that's like the review, and then he's like talking about the bits and pieces. But I loved filming that Wonder Woman last night because I could get really creative with the angles and the pans that I was doing, and I could showcase specifically the different parts and pieces that I was talking about, like the tiara and the glass eyes and all this sort of stuff. And I don't have to touch anything. I don't have to get in on it. I don't have to move anything.
Exactly.
It was just, it gave me this freedom to creatively do whatever I wanted to do and show just that one part that I wanted to show and do it in a way that, I just made me very happy to be able to just film and show something. I mean, there's this one shot that I'm so proud of that we filmed in slow-mo, that the camera is panning, and all of my pans aren't done in post. They're not digital. They're actually using a proper cinematography track. So I've got the camera moving towards the statue, and we used a hairdryer to get her hair blowing. And literally, we cut it and it goes to slow-mo and it goes black and white and the hair is flowing and then it goes back into color and then it goes back into regular normal time. And I'm just like, I love
awesome.
that shot.
Yeah.
Wait till you see this video. I'm so happy with how this video turned out. The only thing that I'd like to change is stop me talking and just put the soundtrack over it, and then I'll be even more happy. Remove me entirely from the equation. I don't know. I just hate my own content, I guess. But
that's like you said with statues. Like, you know, you can get a little bit creative, you know, behind the camera rather than just how you pose it. For me, I like the fact that it's like, well, with these 6 scale statues that are coming out. Okay, but then, you know, maybe I can't repose that statue, but I can repose the figures that I have around it into different configurations to kind of mix things up. And like I said, that Kotobukiya Iron Man is just, to me, is just breathtaking. But also the Kucharik brothers are doing, the new line from Kotobukiya, so that's also got me really psyched.
Where'd Justin go?
Did you drop out?
I guess so. Australian internet.
I don't know. He did drop off for a second. He'll probably. Get back in.
Niculio, the great and powerful. Sorry, no, I'm not holding on to a toothbrush. It's a lens sensor cleaner for my camera. I just had an extra one.
I have Thor's
Hey,
hammer.
sorry about that.
Oh, there it is.
That's all right.
You got one too, Will?
I have Thor's hammer. So
I got one somewhere.
So
I
this
was
piece.
trying to bring
I got one too.
this up because I took some photos of Wonder Woman last night when we filmed it.
Whoo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
bro.
dude, it's
Look at that.
Dude,
see,
these statue
that ain't
companies,
overpriced.
These statue companies are just going nuts.
Look at that, bro.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's what I'm saying, Justin. Like, I feel like Hot Toys, their sculpts are really incredible, but these statue companies are hitting a likeness level that we haven't seen before, in my opinion.
I mean,
Yo.
that's
Do you
individually.
think it's because of the materials?
That is.
Like
Maybe
J&D,
the
that
Is it
medical
silicone, Justin?
Justin, is
It
that
is
silicone?
the whole thing is silicone, and when you touch it, it's just, oh my god, it freaked me out because it feels like more.
You thought they
real than a
mailed you
bison
Gal
would
Gadot.
feel.
Yeah,
It was,
right.
it would literally, when I opened it, and then I had it on the floor behind me, and when I turned around, I saw it in the corner of my eye. I thought there was a person behind me. Like, it is so real, and the way that the light picks up. So skin has this property
eyes
called
look
subsurface
alive.
scattering, where when the light hits your skin and it refracts and it sort of disperses across your skin, it has this quality where it sort of just diffuses very softly. This looks like real skin, and it feels like the nose, everything. Like, obviously, when Ms. Collection came up and saw it as well, I was like touching. She's like, I don't want to touch it. It looked so.
See, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like if I got something that lifelike of Gal Gadot, my wife might be like, "What the hell's the matter with you? Like, now we've crossed the line."
Yo.
Yeah.
And see,
Like
the thing
PJ
is,
trying to get that
too.
Mira.
yo, right, exactly. But see, the thing is, it's like, you know, with me, you know, completely, like, always when it comes to like any Wonder Woman statue, especially with the Gal Gadot likeness, is just so like. It's phenomenal because it's like how they've been able to really capture the likeness, and how sweet of her even to allow, you know what I mean, her likeness to be out there like that, because
You reckon
they
she has
nail
one of
it.
these?
Yeah, they
probably
probably
does.
they probably sent it to her for free. Like,
That'd
I
be
mean,
so
I wouldn't be
weird.
surprised if she doesn't
Yeah, it would be
actually have
weird.
it.
She's looking at it in her
That'd be
mouth.
so
like,
weird.
She's like, damn, I look good.
Actually, I actually have a story about an ex-Sideshow employee told me about Jeremy Renner. So back when the first Avengers film was coming out, and Jeremy Renner was in discussions with Sideshow for whatever reason about receiving product samples, because he wanted anything with his likeness. He wanted a product, a version of that product to keep. But he came into the boardroom, and this person that I spoke to was there as well. And apparently he said to the Sideshow employees, anything with my likeness, I want a whole box full. I want however many years in a box, 12, 24, whatever. I want a whole box. And Sideshow apparently declined. And then he literally straight up got up and left the room. And later on that day, the guy who declined changed his mind because, of course, you don't want to be on Jeremy Renner's bad side. You want him to be in your photos holding the Hot Toys figure, right? Anyway, they called him back, and now he has that deal. So anything that has his likeness that Sideshow sells, he gets a full crate of those items.
Well,
Wow.
they definitely lost that
yeah.
power struggle right there.
He must, maybe he gives, Justin, does he give them
why-
to
why
like
say
kids or
no?
something?
He gives them
or-
to friends and family.
Right,
Apparently,
that's what I was
he
thinking,
said
yeah.
he wants to
Why
give,
say no?
correct.
That's amazing, yeah.
It's another one of
wouldn't.
those instances where, like, Sideshow intentionally pokes themselves in the
Look
eye.
at Lyle's
like,
face.
Why?
Because here's the thing.
so-
Like I said, I'm not going to make this a whole. Yo,
Dumb as a
listen.
bucket of rocks.
You know what? And I don't want to make it a whole show where we're kind of because listen, at the end of the day, even though certain things have happened with this particular company, and
we won't bring it up. We won't bring it up.
I still get certain things from them because, like, in a sense, like because they have the IP, they're licensed, and they're probably the only ones that can carry. I still get things from them. But when you think about certain things like that, especially Jeremy Renner, bro, like somebody, like why?
I can't think of any other company that would do that. That's the only reason why it's so shocking.
I mean, if he asked for like 5,000 of them, then maybe I'd
then,
be
then that's
so
different. Then that's different.
That's different because that's like, come on,
if he asked
man.
for like a crate, what's a crate? Like maybe like 12, Justin, like something like that.
I think around 12, whatever. I mean, if I was in an Avengers film, and never gonna happen, but if I was in an Avengers film and they were making
I'd want
a hot
100
toy
of a toy made of me just so I have them forever.
You bet your bottom
Seriously.
dollar I want a bunch of
and give them to friends, family, kids who want them. Like,
and that's a drop in the bucket versus the sales that you'll make afterwards. So like,
just
and
humor
if
the
he
guy.
promotes, for instance, like on Instagram, you're seeing a lot of celebrities now
that's the
promote
other
their
thing.
1/6 scale versions of themselves. So that's a whole nother thing entirely.
Dude, Josh Brolin promoted an unlicensed version of himself.
Yeah,
and then realized
I mean,
it and then
take
deleted
it
the
down.
picture.
Did he delete it? Okay.
He
Yeah,
did
he had to take it
later.
down.
He took it down. Yeah.
Wait, did he promote the
think
Hot Toys
he's-
one? I haven't seen it.
No.
No,
That's crazy.
no, it was a.
He probably said,
He
you know
probably
what?
just like forget it.
I'm just not going to do it, period.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
I don't
this
know.
one might be unlicensed too, for all I know. I'm not going to
Right.
do it.
Right.
Yeah, he took that down. But it also just goes to show when the actor is so impressive. It's like there are other people out there doing really cool stuff, and you got to stay on top of your game, whether it's Hot Toys or Sideshow, because, like I said, I mean, look at that butcher head sculpt. That's Carl Urban right there. That's
I would love for So to have the DC license.
Yes.
I think they would do so much
and then
with
they
it.
could call it Batwoman and not Bat Lady, and they could,
Correct. I
so-
think they would do so much with it. They're already working on a Shazam from the first film because even if Hot Toys
they
does
really?
Shazam, it absolutely will be from the second film. They're not
Yeah,
going to
it'll
go
be
back
second,
and do.
No.
So it's very safe bet for them now because that's their biggest worry is, okay, we're doing it in this capacity. We don't want to be shown up by an official company making an official version. But because there's a second film coming, there's no danger of that now. So we are going to be getting a Shazam, which I'm really happy about because I love that movie and I love that suit. A lot of
good.
people
Yep.
saying the padding looks ridiculous, but that's what I love about it. It literally looks
supposed
like
to.
No,
a
that film's
grown-up
incredible.
kid in a superhero suit, right?
Right.
What else
That's
did
how he
they say
envisioned
they were
himself,
working
yeah.
on?
Although Jedi
They
Kid
said
last
they-
night did not like it, but he was the only one.
Shazam's
love
great.
that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I
Shazam
thought
is
Zachary
awesome.
Levi was perfect.
It's probably the most, that and Aquaman are probably the most Marvel DC movies. You know what I mean? Like Shazam
I
feels
would
like it
agree.
could be a Marvel
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, like it, and it works great. I mean, like, and Aquaman kind of does too. Aquaman kind of
There's
feels like it'd be a
something
Marvel
else
movie.
they said they were working on. Let me see if I can have a look.
While you look that up, Justin, just help me convince Will to just pull the trigger already on Magic cases.
Oh yeah, I don't even have mine yet, which is a darn shame. But it's very pricey, so I'm having to pay it off.
I've got the
also-
ones behind me, and I've got my second round
Oh,
coming.
your background looks beautiful.
I'm gonna do it. It's just I'm trying to Brendan and I have been talking about it. I'm trying to figure out what I need, because I got a lot
you're
of
gonna
Prime
be-
ones and stuff like that. So I
think
just
you're
They're
gonna be
really
happy about
good
this?
to work with if you order direct. So if you want a custom thing, like really,
Right.
like reach out to Brian. Like they'll work with you and
For
do
sure.
a custom setup for you.
and
Yes,
now I'm
then
broke
mine's
AF,
full
so-
custom. Mine is
Yeah.
full custom. That none of the cabinets that they're making for me were off the shelf. They had to fully custom make them. Mine are ready. I just need to pay the damn man or the man. I should say.
Yeah.
You usually pay like half deposit, right? And then you pay the other half.
And then when it ships, you pay.
Yeah.
When it's ready to ship, you pay
Correct.
the rest. Yeah,
Correct.
I've said, they're expensive. Lael knows he got some. They're expensive, but the way I look at it is when
Here he
you
goes
have,
enabling again.
Lael,
They are
where'd
so
you get it
worth
from?
it. They are so
You're,
worth it.
you're
heard they
muted
are, yeah,
because
I
you're
heard
enabling. You're muted, bro.
No,
well,
the truth is though, when you have a collection
Yes.
that gets to a certain size, it makes
the only way.
sense to put a small percentage when you think about the value of your overall collection into the actual display that you're going to enjoy them through every day. And when you put your collection into a Magic case, you're going to stare at it for hours when you first get it because you're enjoying the whole thing for the first time again.
from a filming perspective, to be able to walk in the room and take off the panel and just put it to the side versus having to faff around with doors and like,
Right.
I cannot tell
No
you how many times I've had
reflections
to
like on detolfs.
reflect.
Yeah.
Correct. It's been such a pain filming those collection tours, having to slide the stupid glass doors back and forward every shot. Not first world problems, I know.
Yeah, I get
but
what you mean, though.
These
Yeah.
being able to just
That's what we
remove
all have,
panels,
so-
it's perfect. So teased, and usually when they tease, they're going to do it. The 3 or 4, I guess, if we count Alligator Loki, versions of Loki
What?
from the Loki show. So they put
Oh,
up
give me
the,
Richard Grant. Give me Richard E.
yeah,
Grant,
they've got a
please.
picture of classic Loki, Kid Loki, Florida Loki. I like to call him. He's the alligator. And,
Do you have the picture?
Florida Loki.
Florida
yes.
Loki.
It's
yes,
not they're not figures. It's just picture of the show.
Oh,
and
okay,
they've just
okay.
put a winky face. They're like, hey, it's
Yeah.
coming.
I
Okay.
think Hot Toys from the show, they're probably only going to do Loki and Sylvie, I would think. And they might put a Croaky with an accessory or something. You know,
I really
if
want
they-
Mobius on a jet ski.
I want a Mobius as well, and he's a simple one to do. I think
Right.
Soso could do a pretty good job with a Mobius.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
Just a brown suit dude. I don't know if Hot Toys are going to do these Loki figures. To be totally honest with you, I mean, they kind of missed the boat already.
It's the
Yeah.
only show
Anything-
that they didn't do anything.
yeah, they didn't have them like ready.
with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I,
it's
I
so
would buy a
weird.
Sylvie. I don't know if I would buy Loki from that show. Just
Maybe
because
the 2-pack.
It's just well, if they did that, then I'd be down for it. But otherwise, he's just wearing like a brown jacket with variant. On
I
the
get
back.
what you
Like,
mean,
he
Brandon. You
didn't
know, I'm the
actually
resident
have-
Loki guy. So
Yeah, he didn't actually have like a
I was hoping
really
for a cool
distinctive
outfit.
costume.
I was
because you saw
really
Justin,
hoping.
they had that teaser trailer with him in like kind of a new outfit on Asgard. Like there
That
was
was
a
the
scene.
Thor 1 outfit. That was
Yeah,
my,
it was pretty
that's
much
my
Thor 1, but like
favorite
slightly
outfit.
different. Yeah. So
Yeah, that
I
is
can't
my
believe they
favorite
never made a
outfit,
Thor
man.
1 Loki, to be honest. I
Well,
can't
see,
believe-
this is what I'm wondering, like, because they did tease, Loki, and they in the variant, but why haven't they released them yet? Like, what's or
I
have
don't
we
know,
got
It's very weird.
maybe they just started on it. I mean, like maybe
Could
there's
be.
like,
It's
but it
weird
seems
that
weird.
there was just a tease and not even because I mean
didn't even see him at
I understand
Summer
them
Showcase.
then making a prototype and maybe they don't make the prototype, but it's weird for them to tease and then never even show the prototype. Although they did that with Shazam. When you think
I mean, has there
about it,
ever
so.
been a Marvel film that they did not make a hot toy for? I mean, like, I don't think so. So I would be shocked.
No, they've at least made the main character
Right.
from everyone.
They're gonna
but
at least
there's
make
some
Loki
that only
and
got
Sylvie.
like
I'm pretty sure.
one
Yeah.
or two.
Right.
There's,
Yeah.
there-
we will probably get like an announcement about it, probably in a couple.
Yeah, another
weeks or-
couple months or something.
Well,
couple months or
technically,
something like
their
that,
event
but-
is still going for another like 5 days, right?
No.
Yeah.
because-
Although
Hey,
the
hey,
Summer Night Showcase, was literally a neon
It was a
tech
rave.
themed rave party.
Yeah,
My
for cos
my
babies
boy
and-
Ryan was there. Yeah, Howard was there. Ryan got a picture with Howard Chan, and he spoke to
saw
Howard
that.
Chan.
I saw
Apparently,
that, yeah.
apparently, Howard Chan watches some of my videos, and I was like, you know what?
Wow.
That just makes me
Like, if they,
so
but
happy.
if there's ever an issue with you or Ryan getting into another event,
I don't
be like,
think it's
guys,
Howard.
Chan
Howard-
watches. I know, but
I don't.
it's
I
like
don't
you gotta
think
be like, guys,
it's,
Howard.
Hey-
here's a picture of me and Howard. Howard
Hey-
watches my
I
channel.
know.
Come
Hey
on.
Justin,
Yeah, yeah.
What you got? This is what I'm waiting for. What you have in your hand right there? That's
The
basically.
Shang-Chi.
This is what I'm
Oh,
waiting
I can't
for.
wait for that
baby.
movie.
Hey, Will, you know this already, right?
I
Will
do.
it come out though at September 3rd? Because y'all in
Yeah.
America, apparently America is the only country in the world. And I don't mean to say that facetiously, but they're saying, oh, the COVID cases are skyrocketing in America, therefore the film may be delayed.
It's possible.
Oh,
which
no.
It's entirely
I feel
possible.
for all of y'all. But where our cases are like at like.
Well,
5
here's the
or
thing is though.
something.
Five.
Here's
Come
the
on now.
thing because they're
Single
basically
digits.
they're making
Yeah, no,
it's going to be
literally.
it's going to be exclusively released at CinemaCon this year. So normally if it's released at CinemaCon, yeah, in Vegas. So if they're basically doing it at CinemaCon, normally like that's it's kind of like a
Done deal?
It's cemented that it'll probably be released.
Okay.
To be quite honest
know.
though, with everything that's happening right now, and they just need to get it right. Everything that's basically happened with Suicide Squad, Black Widow.
Yeah.
I just think that they maybe need to kind of take their time a little bit more. I mean, I don't mind it because, like I said, I want the box office to succeed, especially with this because it's an important IP for me. I do love this film. I do want the hot toy once it's released because there's no question
Yeah,
they
me
will
too.
release
Plus,
it.
I love Kim's Convenience, so having a
Kim's
1/6 scale
okay.
Jung as
love
well.
I love Kim's
Yeah.
Convenience.
I heard
man.
that got
Like,
canceled. Yeah.
It did. It did.
Yeah,
They
I
did
streamed with
basically
Mr. Kim. He's awesome, by the way. He's
He's
got
incredible.
streams like
That was
us.
so
He's a
cool.
geek.
Yeah,
He
I saw that. That
collects.
was so cool.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
incredible.
pie in the sky, but I would love if we got an Abomination out of the Shang-Chi.
Oh,
It would
You
be-
know he's in it. Well, I don't know how much. He's probably only in it for like one
Yeah,
scene.
like
30 seconds?
3 minutes.
Yeah,
We'll
one
see,
scene.
we'll see
yeah.
how-
But hey, Sith Trooper. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
true.
So here's
So-
the thing, because before we actually go on to a segment that pretty much is going to be exciting, I want to talk about one particular rumor. I want to see, because Justin's like normally like you have like the inside, somewhat the inside scoop on some of these things. Not this buddy, not this buddy.
Oh,
Not that buddy, but
That's never happening from Hot Toys.
sometimes I've heard it from certain individuals, but we don't know. But what's the story? You know what I mean? Because possibly people are saying that we could see, more, because I know they delayed it, but down there saying that we could actually get this sooner. What's up, man? What's up with? Is it a possibility
Rex.
that we could get Rex? Has anybody been talking about Rex?
I mean, September. That's next month. I mean, so
Rex.
Yeah, but that's
where
Sideshows.
are you, Rex?
That's
Right.
If I was Hot Toys, I would probably want to get this over and done with. Get this out there, because this is the last clone that they're making, right? For now. They haven't
For
announced
now.
any other clones after this guy.
Yeah, but
now.
Endgame.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So
So have you
knows?
had? So you haven't got anything?
I have got no info whatsoever on Rex. Unfortunately, I really wish I did, because I want this guy so very badly. He's my
Yeah.
you would think
favorite
they would
clone,
time it
right?
with Ahsoka, but again, Hot
Well-
Toys tends to miss some clear, like, this would be an obvious time to launch this, the 40th anniversary of this movie, they don't
Yeah,
always line
yeah.
up timing, so I would
The
think
thing
they would
is-
try and time it with Ahsoka, but I don't think they will.
The thing is with that, a lot of people say, oh, well, they should release it at such and such time so they get more sales. But the thing is, for Hong Kong at least, they don't get any more sales when they release, because they only make as many as are pre-ordered. So to them, it really doesn't matter when they release anything, because they release it now, they're not getting any more sales. They release it 5 years from now, they're not getting any more sales. People have already put the money down. Whereas in the US, very different, because Sideshow gets an amount in stock and it sits on their website. But whether or not Sideshow sells the figures, Hot Toys don't really care. They've already been paid for their batch. So
All right. So I've got a question
Sideshow's
for you
placed
then.
the order. Yeah.
Justin, I've got a question for you, and I completely understand what you're saying. And I also completely understand that I think more people have to understand, we saw the difference between Iron Man Mark 1 and Cyborg as far as people lining
Yes.
up or not.
Yes.
So we know that the Asian markets are primarily what drives decisions for what they're making, what they're, what
I
Hot
was
Toys
told,
is going to do.
in no uncertain terms, by Budget Stark, who is resident Hong Kong YouTube legend, right?
Yep.
He said that compared to China, Japan, South Korea, and Hong Kong, the US market, this is his exact words, is a drop in the bucket. It is tiny.
Okay.
And like,
'Cause that
people
was
in the
my-
US
that was gonna be
cannot
kind of-
fathom. They cannot
Yeah.
fathom that. But it is like...
That was going to
collecting
be my
is so-
question about are we even remotely near a point
No.
where external markets outside of Asia, whether it's Australia, whether it's the US, UK, if those are getting even remotely close to the point where they would actually be more influential in terms of the business decisions that Hot Toys makes, or is it still so far behind the Asian markets that what we want is just wishful thinking, but that's not going to actually determine anything?
Correct. It is collecting is so ingrained in their culture in Japan, in South Korea, in Hong Kong, that you can literally... I went to a restaurant with Ms. Collection when we were in Hong Kong. It was a high-end sushi restaurant. It was an omakase restaurant where the chef makes whatever he wants to make. And apparently it was one of the best Japanese restaurants in Hong Kong. Anyway, we were sitting down at a table, and the guy next to me, just a random guy, was talking about and showing photos of Hot Toys to his wife. Like, it is literally like you go to a random restaurant, people are talking about figures. It is so much part of the culture. There's a whole town in Japan, a whole part of a town, a whole street that is just collecting. Is there any place in Australia that's like that? No. Is there any place in America that's like that, where it's a whole town dedicated to collecting? Every side alley and every little street and every shop is just for toys? No. It is it's such a vastly different experience collecting in Hong Kong and overseas than it is for us. We're still relatively newish to the collecting market per se. I mean, it's just breaking out now into the mainstream audience in the US, etc. We are an echo chamber in our groups, right? We all enable each other. We're all a really tight-knit, relatively small, 5,000-10,000 people that are really hardcore, buy everything, maybe even less than that. Whereas overseas, much, much, much bigger than that.
So what do you think fueled them making Cyborg then? Given that what we saw about the lack of interest in pre-orders in the Asian market in comparison to the Mark 1, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because if all the clamoring for that was really coming from North America, Europe, and Australia, what do you think? Why do you think they ended up actually making it?
Number one, the same reason Hot Toys makes so much Star Wars stuff. Howard Chan. Howard Chan is a DC fan, even though people don't think he is. Howard Chan is a DC fan, and he's a huge Star Wars fan. He has his own private collection room, apparently, that's all vintage Star Wars product.
And filled with all the prototypes that never get made that we want.
Yes, of course, and all the prototypes that people want. But also, there was, even though not as big of a demand, there was a demand to complete the Justice League from overseas as well, because I've got friends, Ryan, for instance, he also has the full league. He's in Hong Kong. He collects in Hong Kong. It's not to say that just because they're in Hong Kong, people don't like everything. There is still a demand. It's just not as great. So Cyborg was one. That's why we saw it take so long. They were potentially costing it to see, hey, will this be viable? Are we at a point where we can potentially sustain a loss on this product just so that we could maybe sell a product like the Nightmare Batman and Superman 2-pack, which is a very low-cost product to make because we have the molds. This is the second time we're using it. Maybe they're seeing that as, okay, we've got this 2-pack happening. Now is a great time to drop Cyborg so that we can sell a low-volume product that will help bolster the sales of a low-cost product for us to make.
So there's probably more demand for fulfilling the line rather than the specific individual character.
Yes.
Definitely,
correct.
Definitely.
Okay.
I think that is probably why you would find that.
Well, I mean, I can't, like I said, hopefully, we'll get an announcement on this because, like I said, I'm like you, Justin. I can't wait to get this in hand.
I need it.
Definitely need it. So I'm going to move on. Like I said, this is going to be a segment. This is an interesting segment.
Oh.
But my boy here, I'm going to introduce the segment every time we get Pretty Boy on here. It's going to be called. No, listen. It is an enjoyable segment because, like I said, Will is like a straight up by far he doesn't think he is, but he's a colorful character. So
we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out. So I'm going to introduce the segment on here, and it is entitled "The World According to Foxification." So what we're going to do is I'm going to get him on screen, and he's going to talk about something that's interesting. So you collectors out there, if you're basically, especially when it comes to budgeting, because all of us are really, really, we're real collectors. Like we are knee deep in this, and it's not because seriously, we are. It's not because we just fake this thing, and that we literally love what we collect. We love the stuff. Look at Justin down. He's just going through, Shang-Chi. Like seriously,
I didn't put it away. It's too fun to post.
It's just too fun to pose. But that's what I'm saying. We love what we collect. We love posing. But at the same
we have
time,
wives and fiancés who allow us to do it.
And we do.
Keeping this stupid thing. Like seriously, how? I can't. It's so good though. I love it. I can't lie.
We're going to talk about how basically when it comes to budgeting, especially when we have new collectors, we have individuals out there who are new to the game and they don't really know how to really budget finances day to day and at the same time collect options that they really, really love. So Will came up with this particular segment. It's the first of many to come, you know what I mean? But this is basically he's going to actually go through some budgeting. So Will... Yeah. Take it away, buddy.
All right, guys. So this is the first of the segment, The World According to Foxification. So what I've tried to do here, we've talked about this a little bit tonight. This is a very simple one, but it's more so like a public service announcement because I find as a collector that budgeting is super important, right? There's a literal YouTuber named Budget Stark that exists with the word in his name. right? So budgeting is super important. So I'm going to share an app with you guys that's free that I use to budget not just my collectibles, but everything. So what I've done, Leia, if you can share my screen real quick. So this is an app actually that I use, and everyone's going to be different, right? This is an app called EveryDollar. It's free. Like you can budget, you can mark everything in there, right? So what I like to do with this thing is budget everything. And what I've done actually with this, I've gone ahead and just put in sort of like a middle class median or mean salary. Like I just put in $1,500 a paycheck. How I normally do this is your take home money. This is the money that you take home after a check, after everything's been deducted, taxes, health insurance, whatever from your pay, right? This is like, you normally in the States, we get paid bi-weekly, right? So we have 2 paychecks every month, basically. Sometimes more depending on the month. But what I've done here, you can add paychecks, right? You can add each one, $1,500 per paycheck. So that gives me an overall budget, right? So what I've done here, you get categories. And this really helps me. And this is really helpful for collecting, I find. So what I've done is different categories, subscriptions, there's savings, there's personal, transportation, food, everything. Everything's in here, right? And you can list everything you go through, you put your subscriptions, everything else in there, right? You can see here, feet.com, very important subscription. Like, don't forget about it. If you love feet, then go for it. Okay. Listen to this one, collecting weekly Patreon, $25, right? Beardaholics Anonymous, that's a super important one. Don't forget about it. Like Brendan, he loves it. He's part of that group. He's in it. So, and then also Jetta Patrol 6 501st Trooper figures. This is a donation. So I've been donating to him every month because, some say he's still unboxing those figures. So it's, he got like 500 of them, I think, and he's still unboxing them. He got them like before the pandemic. He's been unboxing them this whole time. That's what the legend says. So here's another one, Toys Wonderland legal funds, because I heard they're having a hard time right now. There's some stuff going on. There's a legal battle. There's a lot of legal issues going on. So this is a donation, but I just realized $5.99 over budget. Tough decisions must be made when you go and make a budget sometimes. So you have to make tough decisions. So this one I'm going to have to leave Toys Wonderland on their own, right? I'm going to have them let them fight Sideshow on their own. And maybe when the budget improves, maybe I can ask my boss for a $5 raise. I'll hop back in. Right? So these are all important things that you want to put in there. But collectibles, this I usually put under personal. This is a really important one to factor in. I just put in a general $600 a month. Now, most Hot Toys in the States, this usually gets you about 2 Hot Toys a month, right? For most figures. Sometimes a little less, but this is why we have to be selective sometimes. And sometimes you maybe spend a little less in another category and you can buy more collectibles that month. But this really keeps you accountable. It's very simple. Like say I, pre-ordered something from Spec Fiction, right? So this is where you actually put in the seller, right? So say I get it from Spec Fiction. Say the pre-order price, I got it for $150, right? I can throw that in there. I can even put a note in here. Say it was Jon Snow Prime 1, right? I do that. It tracks my expense, right? And you can do a paid version, but there's really no need. So this now tracks, and now I have $450 remaining. This keeps me accountable, lets me know when I paid it. And I can go back in and look at pretty much everything that I've done in each category. So, and there should be, okay, there we go. Yeah, so you can see like you're spent, how much you have left over, how much you have remaining, how much you have planned. So it's really cool, and it shows how much you're spending on each category, right? And this is all free. So I feel like this is good for outside of collecting, but it's super good for keeping yourself accountable and sticking to a budget, because otherwise you could be spending a lot on these collectibles. And if you're going over your budget, you could be losing in other areas. So like you can see here, I got $750 of savings a month. That's just a general ballpark. If you want to save up money every year and you can build a certain amount in savings, you can do this every month, put a certain amount aside. Now, there's also things like 401k, which are above that. But, this in general, it's just a PSA, just to let people know there are apps out there like this. There are ones that you can track automatically. But like this one doesn't do that. Maybe the paid version does, I'm not sure. But you basically just have to stay accountable and regimented and track your purchases. And it's really good for doing that. So yeah, that's really my piece on it. I just think it's a really cool app and something that people should know about. And there are plenty of others out there. Pick your favorite. And you could even put them in the favorites category. Collectibles obviously would be a favorite for all of us. So you can access it more easily. But yeah. So I just think that's really cool, right? Stuff like that for collectors, that are on a budget. We all want to collect these things and we all want to keep ourselves accountable. And I think accountability, that helps you stay in the game longer, You know, if you're spending as little as possible, you know, to buy more things you want. So, and like Justin, I think said, payment plans. Payment plans are huge in my opinion, because if you can do payment plans, then you can buy more things and have more pre-orders and pay them off over time. Because if you buy a Prime 1 and you're paying it off all at once, that's $1,200. You're twice over your budget for that month, right? But if you're paying it off monthly, you can do that and pay off multiple things. So that's how I do it. So that's just a little PSA for me. That's the world according to WillFoxification. But I will say, apps like that are cool, so give them a shot if you're looking at maybe thinking about, you know, being cognizant of how much you're spending, in other words, to balance out your life with collecting.
Yeah, definitely. And it's I think because that's for me mainly, like the payment options have been good. They're great. And actually they're great. Even like, say for instance, like, you know, a few of us who are day one collectors, like we want the day one figures. You know, if you know basically that, you know, those figures aren't dropping until like maybe a year or two later, and you basically, because sometimes you may forget about it, and if it pops up, you know, you're like, whoa, hold up, like I gotta pay this, and it may come at the wrong time. Whereas if you go through a payment option and you're paying it off over time before it reaches, I mean, and this is for some people who don't or can't afford to just pay it off all at once. That payment plan basically spreads it out over a certain amount of time. So while the time, you know, you've already paid it off, you might forget about that you paid it off. So when the release comes and you get that notification, your figure ships out at this particular time, you're like, okay, cool, I don't have to worry about paying for it because I've already actually paid it off. So companies such as like Toys Wonderland, you know, Spec Fiction, Tim Cent, you know, a lot of these companies who basically do the payment option that way, where you can actually, and I like how it's structured because you don't have to, like, you know, I don't like the simple fact that, you know, I'm given a payment option. I have to pay by this particular time, and then I can move it, but then I run out of how many times I can actually move it, and you have to pay. I like to be able to kind of control it where I can pay it off over time, get it paid off in smaller increments, have it paid off, and still pay my other bills. So if you know, people, especially collectors out there, if you're wondering how we do it, this is a prime example. You budget yourself, but at the same time, those payment options come in handy. Don't think that I am not rich by far. I just know how to be smart and collect a certain way. So
and if a company's going to offer payment plans, the whole point of those is to be flexible, to make it easier. Not like, okay, well, payment plans will start 3 months before this is supposed to come out, and then you get hit with all of them all at once. Because it's like, what use is a payment plan that starts 3 months before the figure comes out if it doesn't come out for 18 months? Like, let me start paying off a little bit of it now. The other thing, I mean, and yeah, payment plans are absolutely great. I mean, look, I have pretty much every release that's coming out that I want, through July of next year, I have already paid off. So anything that I'm paying right now is for like the end of 2022 or into 2023. So I'm never hit with like a surprise, like, oh, all this just dropped right now, and now I've got to shell out all these dollars. But the other thing is, you don't have to, like, if you don't want to necessarily do a payment plan with a company, open a second savings account, okay? And just say, okay, I want these figures. I'm going to put X amount per figure into that savings account every paycheck or every month, whatever. Do that, so then break glass in case of emergency. You still have access to that money if you hit financial hard times. It's not like, you know, partially or somebody else has it. You can have it there, so if you need to dip into it, you can, and then you just know where you stand in terms of how much money you have versus what's coming out. You can do that route. You can do the actual payment plans. There are a lot of options. But do whatever is right for you. Don't compare yourself and your situation and how many pre-orders or how many hot toys you're getting to somebody else, like Lael or Justin or myself or Jetta or anybody else, because we all have different situations and we budget accordingly. Like, there are some people, you know, who, like Justin, I've heard you say several times, like, that's your disposable income. You don't do a lot of, you know, other things that are super expensive, so it's not like you're pulling money out of something else that you enjoy or that you have a responsibility for to fund this. You know exactly what you're working with, and it's different for everybody. So, like, a lot of times people, I feel like, get compared, or they compare themselves to, like, I've gotten this question so many times in the chat, and it's like, look, I'm self-employed, but I'm not rich. But people are like, oh my, what do you guys do for work that you can afford all these? It's like,
that question comes
like,
up
look,
so often. Like, what are you going to do? Go and get the same job as me, and then
Yeah,
you'll
that's not
be able
how
to...
it works. It's
not-
like, look,
you-
I'm
no.
or tomorrow I'll be 39. Okay, I'm a grown man. I know how to budget. Based on my lifestyle, based on my income, based on my responsibilities with my wife and kids, and I can do that. It's different for everybody, and if you start comparing yourself to other collectors, that's never going to end well. Just figure out what works for you, whether you're using spreadsheets, you're using the app that will, just pointed out, you're doing payment plans, or you're putting it into a second savings account that you try not to touch. But figure out what works for you, and don't worry about what other people are doing. You can get advice from other people, but don't make it in your head that you have to do it the way they do it. And if you can't, that you're doing something wrong. And that's not the way.
And before everyone else jumps in, just 2 more brief tips. Another thing I like to use, Bank of America is great because you get 3% back for online shopping if you want. So you're literally getting money just to spend money you're already spending. So
full
if you
disclosure,
use that
Will just
credit
got
card,
a part-time job at Bank of America.
yeah, I know. Bank of America sponsor us. 3% back, right, on purchase. You can make it gas, you can make it whatever you want, but most of us, we're spending a lot on collectibles. So online shopping is going to be our 3% category, right? And then the other one, PayPal in 4. That's another one. So they have a new thing now where you can pay it off every 2 weeks. Whatever the balance is, you pay every 2 weeks, 4 installments, and they'll ship it out because PayPal will front the company the money and they'll ship it to you, and then you pay it off in 4 installments every 2 weeks, so over 8 weeks essentially. So 4 payments. So that's a pretty cool feature too.
PayPal credit is
Interest-free.
also interest-free if you pay it off within 6 months.
Yep, interest-free. Yep. So you
So
can do
if
that
you just
too.
say, okay, I'm going to pre-order this figure and I'm going to put it on PayPal and I'm going to pay however, if it's a $250 figure, you're not spending that much each month. Over the course of 6 months, you can do that, no interest. There are all those different options. So
Yep.
But ultimately, when I get that question, I'm like, I'm an adult. Be an adult. You gotta fit. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk when I'm saying that, but it's
Ron Swanson vibes.
But you've got to have accountability. You just have to know what you can do and live within that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to be a grown up.
Just be careful not to go overboard, is my opinion. Yeah.
It's fine to try and get tips
Don't
about
bankrupt
how
yourself.
do you budget.
Yeah.
But the larger sense of look, if I can't afford it, I'm not going to buy it. You just work within those means.
Yep.
Yeah, we have those options. Max,
Yeah.
we definitely do.
So Justin, seriously,
Yeah.
I mean, because constantly watching your show because, like I said, it is informative, especially when it comes to collecting and stuff like that. And how do you when you what would be your advice, to some of the collectors out there who, they, especially if you're new, if you're brand new, and a lot of us as content providers, and we can be labeled. I mean, unfortunately, because we indulge in this thing, it is a double-edged sword. Sometimes people basically look at us and they say, it is informative information. We love that. But at the same time, we also get, you're enabling and, you're FOMO, you're this, that, a third. So what is your...
I get shill a lot. I get told that I only buy things just for the videos. But what people may not know is I was already buying stuff from Tim Cent early in Hong Kong before I ever started my YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
I'm just a very impatient person.
Yeah.
Anything in life.
But even if you
I can
were
pay-
just buying it for a YouTube channel, so what? Who
Yeah,
cares?
I don't understand.
It's your
I don't understand
prerogative.
that.
If the information
Correct.
you're providing is accurate about a release and you're pointing out be careful with this part is a little fragile, this part is really good, you're gonna have a difficult time if the information is there, then who cares what you do with your collection yourself? People would say
that's a really good point.
would give the same kind of criticism about Ryan of Jetta Patrol, and it's he's very open about if he keeps a figure or if he sells it. He's not going to be, he'll be like, I'm going to get that for the review and then I'm probably going to sell it. There's nothing wrong. There's no conspiracy. There's nobody is trying to fleece you or anything.
Yeah.
It's
People love a good conspiracy.
Yeah.
People
But
love
what is
a good conspiracy.
what is your advice though to those new collectors?
If you are new, I think the most dangerous trap you can fall in is going down an old line of something like Civil War, for instance. If you're a huge Marvel fan, you specifically love Civil
pricey
War,
one.
oh my god, that line is one of the most expensive lines you could possibly collect. The hardest thing that you are going to have to learn to do if you're just coming into this brand new is focus on the new stuff first. And then potentially, because let's be honest, the old stuff, once it's peaked, it kind of stays at that peak. It doesn't, like a DX11 has been $1,000 for a long time. It's not gone up to 2, 3, 4,000. It kind of stays where it's at. Once it hits that top dollar, that's where it kind of stays. So leave that stuff for now. Focus on the stuff that you can get that's new, because number one, it's going to be the best quality because it's brand new. Number two, the price is going to be the lowest it could ever possibly be, because especially if you're getting it from Sideshow, for those in the States, you're getting it at what you'll consider retail. So you're going to be able to get it for the price that it was meant to be sold at. And then once you've kind of gotten used to the hobby, got some of your favorite characters from potentially some of the newer properties, then you can start going back and dipping into the well maybe once a month. You can say, okay, I'm going to treat myself to an older figure that I really, really wanted, like an Arkham Knight Batman, or, you know, and pick any random favorite character that people have.
Save
Spider-Man
those.
or...
Save
Rogue
the
One
older
line is
ones
pretty
when we
expensive,
go
too.
through a dry spell of like no releases from
Yes.
Hot Toys. That's
Like,
when you'd go back.
And
Damn
see-
it, now I'm
and
gonna
see-
go buy it.
One
And see,
I'll be back in a second.
And see that was the biggest thing, is because when we went, especially especially when COVID hit,
Yeah.
we went through a dry spell where there weren't really a lot of releases. There, things that we were basically waiting on. It took us months to get them. So it was like it was a time back then that if you budgeted well enough, you can go back and get some wow. You can basically go back and get some of the figures and some of the grail pieces that you were looking for that you didn't actually have. You can go back and
This-
track those down at a reasonable price. You can get them.
Yeah.
Were you saying, Justin?
Perfect example of what you were just saying, Brendan. When there's a lull, when it's quiet, especially for us, the hardest
What'd you
part
get?
is
What'd you get?
is content, right? We need content. So I've started going back and picking up old stuff that I really wish I'd gotten in the past, but I either couldn't afford to do it back then because I was studying or I was, working part-time, whatever the hell I was doing. And I really wanted them, and now I can get them. So, first of all, this guy, the Mark III diecast Stealth, is one that I've wanted for years. And now, finally,
yes.
I have it. I actually haven't opened it yet. I need to do that. But this is perfect for us YouTubers because there is a hunger now with new people coming into the collecting world, universe, if you will, to see older stuff. And some of
Retro
those videos that were
reviews
filmed back in
yeah.
the day were great back then, but they just don't quite hold up. Iron Man 3. I have started with Iron Man 3, so I will be reviewing some Iron Man 3 figures.
You
Silver
just tracking
Centurion
down
wasn't
all of them.
correct. Not all of them, just the ones that I feel like that I really like. Heartbreaker is another one that I want. Silver Centurion, Star Boost, ones that I feel that will add to the collection.
Lael, you have the 2-pack with Pepper, right? From Iron Man 3?
This guy, Storm Shadow, of course, from G.I. Joe Retaliation, because I got Snake Eyes recently. Wanted to have a version of him.
Figure's definitely better than the movie.
It is. Tony Stark, the mechanic. I got a really great deal. This is another thing. If you
Did
find,
this all just come in right now at your door? Was this all just
No,
in
no,
one
no.
Okay, I
They've
was
just
gonna
been
say-
sitting in a pile over there.
Oh, jeez.
Wait a second. There's more.
Oh
You
my
said
god.
there's-
Talk
Well,
about
All right,
enabling.
now,
Hey,
for
well,
the
well,
chat,
well,
I
real
meant
quick.
like you go get one figure like at a time, not like 8 or 10.
We just talked
so-
about budgeting.
These were not all. These were not all at a time. This is
Okay.
this is a perfect example because I
Okay.
got 3 or 4 of these from a collector who was getting out of collecting.
Yeah.
And it was from a local Facebook group, and he sold them for a very reasonable price. So that's another thing. Look out for great deals on our local collector groups because 9 times out of 10, collectors will want to take care of other collectors, right?
Yeah.
It's just this unspoken thing. People say eBay prices. A lot of collecting groups like to avoid that. So I managed to luck out, and I found a local collector who was selling a lot of his Iron Man figures. Iron Patriot. This is one that I wanted to have to compare to the new Iron Patriot when he comes out because I didn't have this guy.
2024.
Whenever he eventually comes out.
2026.
So now I've not only got content for when there's a lull and when nothing is coming out, but I also have stuff that'll add to my new content. But I got it for a really decent price from a local collector. The last thing that I have here, oh my god, you were just talking about it. This ridiculously big...
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, there it is.
I
I
love
already
it.
have Pepper, so
I
I'm going to
love it.
give this Pepper to Bob Dylan, who is the quiz master. This is a gift for him for his birthday.
Bye,
but
Dylan.
Nice.
I'm keeping the Mark 9. Yeah, I got the 2-pack, so I'll be all of this stuff. I will be reviewing eventually. But the good thing is, they're evergreen, right? They're kind of. Nobody's really that interested in watching a review now, and they probably won't be that interested in watching a review of it in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
I've got content that'll.
Hey,
be able
Justin.
to be-
Hey Justin,
Yeah.
so what I did was, because I have a review coming up with the rescue. I actually got the unboxing and review coming up for rescue,
Hey.
and some of the pictures, basically, I used the pepper pots from there just to
Yes.
hold up the helmet in front of her, just her rescue helmet. I have
Yeah,
it
yeah.
holding up, so I just wanted to kind of. So it's that I honestly. I don't. That pepper to me is amazing. I love that pepper pot.
It's great.
So it is.
Yeah.
It's an incredible
Absolutely.
piece. But
And
yeah.
he's using Filmic Pro now to film his.
Hey, Phil, Pro.
Thanks to Justin. Thanks to Justin on that.
If you need
idea.
any,
I'm a little insulted though because I literally run my own video production business and he didn't ask me
Yeah.
a single thing about it.
Ultimate
and then he's
shade,
like, "Yo,
Brendan.
Justin turned me onto this app." I mean, you mean Filmic Pro? Yeah, you know it. It's like, yeah, I know. Why you never asked me?
It's a good
Filmic
app.
Pro is a great app, but just be careful not to try and film long clips. I've found
Yeah,
that I was filming previously. That's why I've now condensed my video down into multiple different segments. Is because when
Yeah.
I was filming like 8-minute long clips, it would skip some frames. And I
Yeah.
contacted Filmic Pro support, and I'm like, dudes, what the hell is this? I got 12 Pro Max. It's the latest device. Why is it skipping frames? And they were like, oh, we invented this app to only film short clips. So do that. And
shorter
I'm like,
clips and then
What-
that's crazy.
what do you mean
is-
short clips? Like, what the hell? Anyway, I took their advice, and now I haven't had any more issues, because I also plug in my Yeti mic into my phone. So I've got pretty good audio, and I'm using the phone for the video. So maybe it was struggling with processing the audio. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a thing. For those who don't know what that is, it is a filming app that allows you to manually control everything: exposure, white balance. You can do even some basic color correction in
The
there.
hardware in the iPhone is great, but the camera app itself, the native camera app, is horrible. It doesn't tap
Here
into
is
the
a,
actual potential of it. So Filmic Pro
Here
is
is a shot
definitely the way
of
to go.
me literally using it yesterday, filming this Wonder Woman behind the scenes shot. I film everything big in the collection room, and this black velvet backdrop is my newest thing. So it actually allows, because it absorbs light, it will be a pitch black backdrop.
I love that you're a
So,
Mac guy, Justin.
Yeah.
I'm the same
Huge
way, dude.
Mac.
I'm the same
the
that-
Mac guy.
I'm-
I just
I'm the
bought a new
same way,
iMac, so
yeah.
I'm broke. I can't buy any more collectibles.
I'm on
Oh,
my
you
new
did,
iMac
buy
right
an
now.
iMac? Will, you did end up doing it?
Yeah, I did it. It cost me a pretty penny, Brendan. I'm upgrading the RAM separate though. I bought that from
I run an
'cause-
iMac Pro for my business. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that
I'm all
Apple
in.
way overcharges for the RAM, dude. Just buy that stuff
Yeah.
separate. But
I,
the iMacs are great. Justin, did you get the 2021 iMac?
Yeah, I got the blue. I got myself a blue one, and I got my wife
Okay.
she wanted the silver one. I really wanted her to get the yellow one, but she didn't want the yellow.
Yeah.
She wanted the silver one.
I
so
got the
her yellow one.
2020 because you can get more RAM. So I was like, I'll just go with that. Yeah.
Yes, I thought to myself when I bought it from the Apple Store, they had an 8-week wait for the 16 gig RAM option,
Wow.
and I was like,
Jeez.
I want to go in today and I want to get it now. So I just got the highest end, the 8-core M1, and I was like, the RAM I can just do later, because I have a MacBook Pro that's also M1 and it
Gotcha.
has 16 gig RAM. So I was like, I don't know if I need it. Anyway, luckily for us who make YouTube videos, most of this stuff is tax deductible, so I can claim my iMac, and then when iMac, the bigger version, comes out or whatever, and we upgrade to that,
Right.
I can get the 16 gig RAM. But anyway, this is Filmic Pro. You can see I'm using it here. You've got manual sliders for everything. You've got audio gauges on the side. You can focus manually. Everything you can do manually, which is perfect for what we're doing on YouTube.
It really does open up what people can do when they can't afford a lot of camera gear and stuff like that. You can do amazing. I mean, the app is not that expensive. You can do some amazing stuff with it. There are companies like there's one called Moment that make
Yes, they make lenses.
that can attach to your case, so then you can actually use a better quality lens of different
I love
focal
talking
lengths.
gear. We don't get asked this question enough. Like,
But a lot of
how
people are
we do it.
interested in it, especially if they want to try and start creating content too. But like most people have to just at least start with using their phone. And for some, depending on what you've been using your phone the whole time. You haven't needed to go beyond that.
Any
because
advice
you can
on
create
YouTube
the content
using
you
a
want to create.
Samsung phone? Yeah, don't do that because Samsung imposes a 10-minute limit on filming in 4K. So they have overheating issues and write speed issues for their internal storage and also external storage, which is a lot slower. Yeah. So they impose a 10-minute limit for filming in 4K, which, I mean, if you want to film longer than 10 minutes, it's not ideal.
And
and
eventually a DSLR is great too. So if you can
DSLR
get that,
is perfect for really shallow focus and macro shots. I love filming with DSLR.
DSLR is dead.
that's what this is on right now.
Yes,
DSLR is dead. Mirrorless.
I have a mirrorless camera that
I have a
use
mirrorless
for...
too because I have EOSR, so it's mirrorless. Yeah, I forgot. I'm like
will
kind of using the
find-
terms
you'll
interchangeably.
Oh yeah, you're a Canon. You're a Canon.
Yeah,
guy,
I'm a Canon guy. Yeah,
I'm a Sony guy. That makes sense.
Sonys are incredible,
That's why
though.
you're so wrong all the time.
Yes,
Okay.
Sony does make some incredible cameras.
Sony's
You will struggle to
incredible too,
find,
Brandon.
unless you pay big
I
bucks,
do.
you'll struggle to find one that can match what iPhone can do in terms of frame rate and resolution. You won't. DSLR and mirrorless cameras struggle to get to 4K at 60 frames. You can find some that will do it, but compared to a $1,000 iPhone, they're going to be what 3, 4 plus lenses, plus your lighting setup, etc. So that's why I've stuck with my
60
phone.
frames a second.
Plus, every year I will automatically get a bump in quality, right? Because every year I'm upgrading my phone, I'm automatically going to get a bump in quality when it comes to new lenses, when it comes to high resolution, when it comes to bigger sensors. It's a guaranteed upgrade progression for my video quality as well, which is why I love using my phone. People are like, why wouldn't you just use a proper camera? Well, I don't want to go and spend $5,000 every year upgrading to a camera that may or may not be any better than the last camera. So if I'm using my phone...
the thing is, what you need and what you want to do, your phone works perfectly. And sometimes people get caught up in that. It's like, well, if I'm going to do this for real, I've got to spend a lot of money on this higher end thing. No, you need what you need. Okay, like if you can do it with your phone and you don't need anything beyond the capabilities of your phone, then you don't have to spend money on anything else. Most of the time, people really what they need to, if they're going to spend money, because you're already going to get a phone anyway. If you're going to spend money and related to your content, and it's not like the figures themselves, light. Yeah, that's what you focus on. But
listen,
people just kind of
every photo that you've ever seen me take, every photo that I've actually displayed, even when I'm actually just doing different poses and stuff like that.
Latoya took.
Nope. If I do it inside of an actual box, everything that I've actually done, I've done myself using the actual phone. I don't use any type of special camera. I have certain apps to give me certain things that I need. I mean, as long as look, if I'm spending this much on this phone, I'm going to get what I actually want from it.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, anybody, especially if you're a first-time YouTuber, like I said, go for what you know. I've been using my phone day one since I've actually, been, doing this and stuff. So
just to show you how versatile it can be. Do you want to see a quick clip from the Wonder Woman bust video?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'll bring it up.
And by a quick clip, I mean the whole thing.
What phones are really doing with their technology now is incredible. I'm still a DSLR and mirrorless guy. I feel like the quality is just better. Like I feel like you're paying more, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
Better
And
sensor,
I am,
etc.
but that's
the
because
quality's
it's my
unmatched
business.
for those, But if you're just starting in YouTube, 100%, start with your phone. I mean, like, don't buy a $2,000 DSLR and $2,000 lens. I mean,
And thing with like streaming and stuff. Like the webcam on your laptop if you want. Like I have
start there.
my Sony A7S III because I have it for my business. So then I'm using it right now. But if I didn't need it for my business, then I wouldn't be spending that money to do live streams, so you just realize that like if you need this, you don't have to spend this. And some people just kind of figure that, well, if there's room above what I need, then I must have to spend that because there's got to be something up there that I need, and it's just not true.
Toya, true MVP.
Absolutely. I'm talking to you on my iPhone right now. It's being used as my webcam plugged into my Mac, and I find that it's the best webcam you could ever use because it has autofocus, it has auto white balance and exposure, and it has multiple lenses. So if I wanted to, I could go for a wide, like right now, if I want to change to a wide angle shot. This is probably going to look ridiculous, and you'll see how messy the studio is.
Fun.
But if I wanted to change to, where we go, camera settings. Oh God, here we go. Hey,
There you go.
you can see everything now.
That's a hell of a boom arm.
Yeah, I use it for one of the most annoying things was having the mic in the light box when I was filming.
Gotcha.
I would keep tapping the table and then you would hear it. But because it's all shock mounted now, it's a non-issue. But
audio is by far the hardest part of video.
Because Brandan and I know we're using
Absolutely.
Cam Link. We're using our DSLR mirrorless right now. So like the quality is crazy.
Oh yeah, Brendan looks better than all of us with his soft focus. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful.
Well, and that's, I mean, now, granted, I have a face made for radio. I admit that. But still, like, again, that's that's camera equipment that I've amassed over the years for my business. So it would be kind of bad if I'm using a $3,500 camera and a $4,000 lens and it doesn't look good. So like, you know that, but like again, it's that whole.
But then
don't
the barrier
compare your
to
collecting
entry
to somebody else. It's the same thing. It's like, look, it doesn't matter because, you know, yes, I look a million times better than Lael, but that's just life, you know, so we don't have to, you know, but it is what it is. But it is fun talking about I mean, just because it's part of my business too, but talking about the gear used to create content, whether it's, you know, Will doing his movie reviews or Lael doing a figure review or, you know, Justin doing a review or something. It's, you know, it's fun to talk about that because there are a lot of people in the community who want to get more involved in whether it's doing their own YouTube channels or jumping on a live stream with us and being on camera instead of being in a chat. And they want to, you know, but they don't know how to jump into that. There are those little corners of collecting like that or like the budgeting that Will was talking about that I don't think really get talked about that much because it's usually us bitching about what's
your favorite figure? What do you do for work? What's your least favorite figure? Like those 5 questions, like Marvel or DC. Those questions.
And there's more to it that you can enjoy.
Yeah, there's so much more to discuss. This is such a in-depth world when it comes to making content and also consuming content that we don't really talk about. And I think it's fun to talk about this sort of stuff because we put so much effort like behind the scenes. This took me hours to film yesterday, and I had so much fun doing it. Where I don't really have that much fun anymore just filming a regular figure. I like the challenge of filming something different, like this Wonder Woman bust. And unfortunately, not many people are going to watch it, I don't think, because it's
I'll probably watch it like 50 or 60 times.
I'll play some. I won't spoil the whole thing. I'll just play some of the clips. So this, by the way, is not done digitally. This is not me in my editing app zooming out the shot. This is the actual camera is being moved on a track, and everything is still 4K. It's not me using the 4K image and zooming in. Some people, I think that I do that. But it plays with the focus. We also had a soft light that we were moving around just to change and get that little glint in the eye as we were moving the camera around. I'm also talking during this thing. It's not just silence and just images.
I mean, it looks great.
Of
Optical 20 is really good with this filming and cinematography too. Like I've learned a lot from him
myself.
myself.
Look at the sweat. Like you can see.
It does look like there's like glistening there.
It's so real looking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Justin. Like these hot toys have reached great heights, but these statues and busts are taking it to the next level, in my opinion.
And this type of video is like the evolution of your channel too, because it's when you step outside of the light box and be like, all right, we're gonna do something like this, and we're gonna enjoy it. So you just get to mix up your content. What I will, I'll give you one little tidbit, one little suggestion. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. But so with something like this, when you've got the black backdrop, essentially it's called like infinite black or seamless black, where it doesn't look like there's a wall.
It took me so long to perfect the black background. I cannot even tell you how long it took me to get it perfect.
Yeah, it takes a while, especially if you're dealing with a limited amount of space. One of the things that is really good is if you have a light, it doesn't have to be super powerful, but a light that is off to the side but behind your subject, so behind this, so it gives kind of an edge light to the hair so that it will separate it from the backdrop, just so you can so that like none of the detail of the hair gets lost. Because like with that hair billowing like that, do you have like a fan on her or something?
A hair dryer.
There we go.
Or a hair dryer.
Yes.
That's funny.
You put a light behind, and then you really see that hair flow. And you can get
I did have lights coming from behind and on the sides as well as in front. It's
you know what?
Leo, you get this?
Man, Yo.
That thing is phenomenal.
It's
I mean, that's
expensive, but
is-
it's phenomenal.
It is beautiful. Like, and this thing is, like, how you've actually shot it. It's almost like she is right there with
I
you
know, it looks like
in
she's
front of
standing
you.
there, right?
It looks like she's right
That's
there
all.
in front
That's
of you,
all I'll
like-
show.
Yeah,
Right.
yo,
It's
this
the
is-
next level of collecting.
It is like this is simply. It's such a beautiful.
What J&D
piece.
and Queen are doing are crazy.
Man.
It
It's
really-
next level.
Yeah.
Yo,
and
anyway-
Prime's getting there, but yeah.
They are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, not with their
Pri-
face sculpts, but with everything
been-
else. Yeah.
They've been
Yeah,
doing
and
some
I
really
think they
good stuff.
really need to dial
Yeah.
in because that's where these other ones are winning, right? Is
Yeah.
Prime
Right.
One's been around for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But these new companies come in and like that, hyper real.
Queen-
Literally,
Queen
it looks like the
Studio.
person.
Well, Prime One
yeah.
is not really doing like actor
silicone and
likeness
stuff,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. More like they're
But they
doing
were.
more characters from comics or animation or like The Last of Us and Uncharted and God of War.
I mean, they
Their
were doing
Jon Snow
Justice
is
League
pretty
and-
dead on too, Justin.
That Jon Snow
That's-
is,
yes.
bro. Like literally,
He looks good. He looks good.
You have me like wanting to get that daggone. Will.
Yep. See,
You
I'm
gonna make-
enabling.
But I'm gonna tell you, listen, like the bar for me was set with that J&D iron. I mean,
Catwoman?
the golden armor.
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Oh, the Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
They
They're Arthur
set-
Fleck too.
They set the bar so high with
the
that.
Harley?
Oh my God, yes.
Dude,
Like,
J&D came out of nowhere and became
Yep.
a name. Like
And
that,
their YouTube videos are really good too. Like that guy that they have presenting and talking about the prototypes, he's great.
Yeah.
I'm really
Dude,
impressed.
the Heath
with
Ledger's
the-
coming out soon. You know, I'm
what
getting
other
that one.
company
Yep.
does that? What no other company
Nobody
really does that.
I don't know why they're so. I don't know if they're afraid of getting in front of the camera and talking about what they're working on. We want to know. We want to see the process. Like J&D, like these are the latest prototypes. We've changed this. We've been working on this. Like that is so
Right.
engaging to the audience who loves your product.
Yeah.
I don't know why Hot Toys like they have hired this
Yeah.
actor now. This guy, this random guy. He's been doing a couple of their videos. But like we don't really want to see like a tour of the convention that's not really a tour because you have other channels like press that you're letting into the event to do that for you. We want to see stuff that other channels can't give us.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the work behind the scenes on the prototype. Like I want to see start to finish, not revealing trade secrets or anything, but start to finish what it takes to make a product behind the scenes. And maybe they can do that one day, but it seems like they've got a phobia of the camera.
Yeah,
like
the
Howard
gold
very
standard is
secretive,
Prime
so
One.
Secretive.
Their showcase,
Yeah.
the gold standard,
Okay.
that they are setting the bar for everyone else. I mean, like what they do with their showcase is next level stuff. I mean, like
Yeah.
they should put it all different lanes, show behind the scenes. Like, yeah, J&D is going to get to that
Look at
point. I
that.
think Queen's already said to us that they're trying to get to that point too. But like,
That Wonder Woman was sent to me by their press department. I do
nice.
it's on loan. It's on loan, so I do have to send it back. I
You
don't
have to
get
send it
keep
back, yeah.
Nobody freak out. J&D apparently is talking
That
to
one right
Toys
there.
Wonderland, so
That
some
one
of
right there.
some of my sponsorship deals do come through Toys Wonderland. I don't get paid for any of this, by the way. I just get to look at the thing. So they've spoken to Toys Wonderland about potentially sending me a Harley to review. I'm probably
Wow.
going to have to send that back as well.
Oh.
But I don't really care. I just want to see it.
I mean, what if you love it? Could you
looks
buy
like.
it from them? Like, would they let you just buy it for retail?
The Wonder Woman I know is sold because it's limited to 500. So the
Right.
Wonder Woman I reviewed is already sold, and they already asked the collector or actually the collector offered to send it to me, I think.
Oh wow.
So they contacted Queen, and Queen said, yeah, absolutely, we'll send it on. But I think it depends on if it's sold or not. I would imagine that I would get the option to purchase. I would love to.
Yeah, because J&D pieces you've seen, Justin, are selling out like in hours. I mean, like they're up for an
Yeah.
hour or like a
Do
couple
they
hours
even
and they're
have a
sold.
piece right now that isn't sold out on pre-order?
No. Yeah, because they're so
Everything's
limited
sold
edition.
out.
They might be like maybe 1,000 or less or 500, you know, and like they sell out and like, you know.
Yeah, sold
The
out.
Heath
But for a
Ledger's-
company that came out of nowhere to sell 1,000 pieces, boom, boom, like.
And I
every
know
time.
PJ
They
's
do
been-
have they do have a Hot Toys employee. I think Kojin. I
Yeah,
think,
Kojin.
was an
Kojin
ex Hot
does it,
Toys
yeah.
employee.
that Arthur Fleck.
Yeah,
Oh
dude, look at that
my
Arthur Fleck. It's sick as
God.
hell.
No,
I'm hoping they
that's,
make
that's
an actual
Joaquin
Joker.
Phoenix. Like that's
but-
like they stole his
Yeah.
soul and put it
Yeah,
into
they put it in.
a
I'm hoping they
statue.
make a
That's
Joaquin
it.
Joker. That I would really. I have the
Yeah.
Prime one, but I'd be tempted by a J&D Joker.
Yep.
Because
me
he,
too.
you know,
I mean,
I already
Queen
got
is
Heath,
right.
yeah.
Queen Studios is.
Queen is, yeah, but I'm tempted by it. But I already have the Prime one, and I do love it. So it's kind of
Okay,
like, do I really
okay,
need to double
okay.
dip? You know, so
No,
But-
I'm not doing this. No, Will. No.
I mean,
No.
it's
It wasn't
got to
me
get the
this
Heath,
time.
Leo.
It
Get the
wasn't
Heath
me.
Ledger.
you really have to love the character to
Yeah,
to
you do.
go
It's a lot
in
of money.
at
You do.
this level. Like, I love Wonder Woman, but I don't
Me
think I would love Wonder Woman
too,
enough to
bro.
have half of her in
Yeah.
my room. Like, the amount she takes up the amount of space of like 50 figures.
Right.
Would you say that having that one Wonder Woman, as impressive as it is, and it is truly amazing, is it worth sacrificing 50 figures of potentially equally amazing characters to have that one piece? And for me, the answer is
yes,
always no.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Like
the-
Heath Ledger, I
I'm
think
not-
that's the greatest acting performance I've ever seen. So I'll get any
Oh,
Heath
yeah,
Ledger that's
yeah.
good, basically. So I mean, like Jane, I'm getting J and D, I'm getting the Queen, like Prime One, I
Oh.
might even get. So I mean, like, but
Oh.
the J and D is just next level. That Heath Ledger, they're out to show it soon. They already teased it. It's almost
Yep.
about to go. It's like almost done production. Like that thing is going to be.
Yep.
I would
Once it
love
sells
it if
out,
they did
it's
a
going to
Jack
be.
Nicholson Joker.
They might.
Oh, yes.
They
That
said
would
they
be
have a new
so
IP.
good.
They're going to be
I
announcing soon.
heard that he's very difficult to get in line,
Likeness,
like
yeah.
agree to his likeness.
That's
being
what they said about
used.
Joaquin, though, and look at that
Yeah.
now, and he's had a ton of collectibles. Put
But
out,
because
so-
I mean,
Okay.
even though it's an older figure, that the head sculpt that Hot Toys did on the Jack Nicholson Joker,
Oh, yeah,
it's
it's
one
great.
of my favorite of my
It's
collection.
amazing.
I absolutely love
Yeah.
it. So to see the talent and what they're doing at J&D to get a Jack Nicholson, I would 1000%
Yeah.
I would buy that.
Yep.
Man.
And I do actually prefer the Heath Ledger Joker, even though I grew up with the Jack Nicholson one. I think Heath Ledger is the definitive one for me, but I would love a J&D Jack. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
That'd
listen,
be awesome.
we're gonna wind down here, man. This has been like pretty much probably one of my favorite shows, man. Like seriously, like a great discussion. Will, thank you for that segment, bro. Like
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
dude.
phenomenal,
Oh, that was
man.
awesome.
Like and it breaks down, like I said, especially for new collectors. I hope if you're listening out there, like this is the prime example of how we do certain things when it comes to collecting. None of us are rich, but we're rich in thought when it comes to our love for these figures. We love collecting. This is what we do it for. It's a collecting community. We don't just collect from one particular reseller or one particular. We collect from everyone. Anyone who has pieces that we love, and there's a formula to it. You don't have to basically just go out and buy it all at once. You can break it down into payment options. As long as it's available. This is what we do it for. So, again, great panel, great discussions all around. If you again, subscribe to.
We were only going to stick to what, an hour? You said, Leo?
I know, but
We
this
only
is
doubled it.
this is collecting, and when we could talk about this is because this proves how much we love what we do. We love collecting, so this proves basically why it can go about longer than an hour, and it's projected to be an hour, but we go along further than that. But it was an interesting discussion. Justin, thank you for always. Justin, I had one request, bro. Please.
Yeah.
Whenever there is time and whenever you get a chance, bro, please. I was just talking to Brendan about this before. I am a super Robert Meyer Burnett fan, bro. I love Robert Burnett. I love him. I watch his shows.
Lyle, tomorrow I am streaming with him at the same time we streamed last week. So if you want to come on, and the same goes to all
Bro.
you guys. If you ever want to come on the show,
absolutely.
If I can get on tomorrow night,
yeah,
you would have.
Absolutely. Made Leo's life.
That's a check off my bucket list, bro. Send me the link, and I will.
Yeah.
Bro, woo! I cannot wait. If you get me on the show with him, bro, I am there. Like literally, I love
yes,
Robert
I will.
Meyer Burnett. Man. Thank you. I
I'm telling
appreciate
you
it, bro.
that's a good birthday present for me. So I'm all in on that. 'cause-
Speaking of which, tomorrow is Brendan's birthday. For everybody who doesn't know, the
Oh.
Enabler's birthday is tomorrow. So happy early
Enablers.
birthday
Happy
to my
birthday.
bro. You know what I mean? You already know what it is, but that would be fulfilling for me. Again,
Yeah,
thanks for the
absolutely.
panel, man. Thanks for everybody basically being on. Will, again, appreciate you every day, all day. People don't know this, but Will's helped me through so many different things, man. So I appreciate him for that.
I try.
You know what I mean?
You've
Brendan,
helped me a lot too, just as much.
I appreciate that, man. Brendan, as always, like I said, this is my bro, 150 grand. Again, subscribe to Justin's Collection on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. The Facebook group is what is it called? Six scale collect. Is it six scale collecting again? I think I always forget,
Six Scale
bro.
Network.
Six Scale Network is a Six Scale Network. Subscribe to that. Great content. It's a great community where we can share pretty much everything. So I'm always on it. I'm just there always. Subscribe to WillFoxification. Great movie reviews. Basically he always has great content, incredible content. So I'm always there as well. So if you haven't already subscribed to WillFoxification, do get on that right away. You'll see Brendan and I here on the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube YouTube page always for Say What. Also, I have 2 more reviews coming. One for the armor. Finally, I'll be able to put that up, and the other one for rescue armor. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'll also have next week. I'll be getting in the finally getting in the Scout Trooper with the speeder bike. So I'll definitely be reviewing that. So that'd be interesting. So yeah, great discussion, great panel. Again, shout out to, like I said, I like the end of the night, just, kind of shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Linda, shout out to you, Max Geekdom, OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars, Gabriel Munez, Louise Libetz, S Beam, Anthony Cafferata, if I said that right, Vortex Collecting. We have Philip Toscano, my fiance who I love dearly, Toya. I'll be up there in a minute. Max Geekdom, always good to actually have you here, man. Doc Smizzle, you came in late, but you always come through in a clutch, so shout out to you too, man. And again, Niculio, my man, Niculio the Great and Powerful, always, man. It's great having you here. And everybody, like I said, man, if I haven't mentioned you, you're always mentioning love. Stay tuned. Well, actually, possibly next week, there's going to be a special guest. I can't say who it is yet until it's confirmed. But, she did reach out to me. It was like, yes, I would love to be on. So we'll just confirm a date. I'll actually just get her. I'll put that out there later. But again, Justin, you're always welcome on the show, man. I love to actually discuss this. Especially when it talks about this, when we're talking about collecting, man, I just love it. I mean, this is just basically where I exist. It is a home. It's a home away from home for everybody out there. Like I said, we like to discuss these things. And like I said, we keep it civil. Like here, we do value opinions, but always be nice, be civil, treat everybody with nothing but respect, because we would like to treat you with respect. Again, thank you for always coming on board and sticking with us. I know it was only supposed to be an hour, but when we're talking about these things,
That's how it goes.
It is what it is, but we're here and we'll always be here. Again, this is a 1/6 Scale Man YouTube page presents Say What. Shout out to everybody that was on the page. We will see you guys again. Peace and love.